On top of the Senju Buddha statue, there is a sitting wooden golem. And above wooden golem, is Senju Hashirama with a dignified face. True several thousand hands, Senju Hashirama's strongest wood-style ninjutsu. The Valley of the End of the Kingdom of Fire was created from nothing by this move. However, even with his strongest move, Senju Hashirama is not sure of victory. From the wood style displayed by Naruto, it can be seen that the wood style mastered by Naruto is not weaker than Senju Hashirama. With this level of attainment, Senju Hashirama believes that if Naruto also has true several thousand hands, he will probably be even stronger than himself. The question is whether Naruto will have this unique wood style that belongs to him. As for Naruto, will it? Of course it will. After all, he had seen Senju Hashirama use this technique in his previous life, and Naruto started researching it immediately after he obtained the high-level wood style, which has a wood style level equivalent to Senju Hashirama. There is no need to consider seals and the like, after all Senju Hashirama has not made seals either. Usually it's a clap of both hands, and you can get what you want. Naturally, Naruto also followed suit, and with a brigade of 3,000 clones practicing, he made great progress very quickly. He has mastered all the 18 wood styles shown by Senju Hashirama, and he has also improved greatly. After all, Naruto itself has no limit. As long as he keeps practicing, he can keep transforming. Just when everyone was amazed at the amazing strength of Senju Hashirama. Standing in the air, Naruto's eyes were as unwavering as Gu Jing's. The battle with Senju Hashirama has long been expected, are long awaited. In any case, like Uchiha Madara, he is known as the god of ninja world. If he can defeat these two people head-on, it means that he is truly the strongest in the ninja world. Now, he wants to prove to everyone present that he has the experience of challenging and defeating the god of ninja world. Sage Art Wood Style True Several Thousand Hands. Snapped. Accompanied by crisp applause, the chakra in Naruto's body began to send crazily. The ground shook once and for all. It is more intense than before. What a strong vibration. What's going on? Uchiha Madara scurrying through the forest doesn't know what's happening above. The woods in front twisted crazily, joined together, formed a hole, and continued to grow. Uchiha Madara immediately moved away, avoiding herself being involved. Although it took a long detour, before the target was discovered, he had to act as soon as possible to get back what belonged to him first. Uchiha Madara had no idea what was going on. But other viewers clearly saw the whole process of change. After the countless trees tangled together and continued to grow, they turned into another larger Senju Buddha statue with more hands. Oh my god. Naruto can do this move? When did he practice? I've never seen it before. Not only that, Naruto summons idols that are bigger than first Hokages and have more arms. Should I say it's Naruto? But it's beyond imagination. It's really hard to imagine that Naruto is just 7 years old like us. At the age of 7, he was able to fight against the legendary god of the ninja world, and even gained the upper hand. Naruto is really amazing. Naruto will definitely win. Shikamaru shouted in shock, and at the same time waved the flag and cheered for Naruto, raising their arms and shouting. And Konan and Nagato were completely stunned. They thought Senju Hashirama was strong enough. But unexpectedly, Naruto once again exceeded their imagination. Especially Nagato. After the shock, his face was full of bitterness. It turns out that he didn't use his full strength in the battle between me. Konan looked at Naruto in shock and horror. Was it really his full strength? I'm no longer sure. Of course not. Nagato shook his head and said. Don't forget he hasn't used the power of the Rinnegan yet. Although, it should not be used now. Nagato looked at the two huge Buddha statues facing each other, and suddenly released. Perhaps, Naruto can really accomplish everything he said. Although it is not a world without disputes as Nagato expected, it can completely eliminate wars. As long as this can be achieved, it is enough to make Nagato gratified. Moreover, Nagato already knows that he is just a pawn in someone else's plan. The so-called Project Tsuki no Mi is not to eliminate the war at all, and all he can look forward to is the future that Naruto told him. Therefore, the stronger Naruto's strength, the better, so that he can deter all the young people. Senju Hashirama didn't expect that one day he would look up to his opponent after using true several thousand hands. What was even more unexpected was that this opponent used the same ninjutsu as him, and it was stronger than his. What was even more unexpected was that the age of this opponent was only 7 years old. Senju Hashirama never thought that the ninja world would change so quickly. How long ago was he dead? In the ninja world, there is such a talent that is more pervert than the legendary sage of 6 paths? But that's fine too. Under the leadership of such a strong person, Konoha will definitely live better. If the boy in front of him really manages to unify the entire ninja world, then he will definitely solve the war problem he hates most at the root. What a pleasure. I didn't expect to meet an opponent as refreshing as you besides Madara. Senju Hashirama laughed heartily. It seemed that he was not worried about losing at all. And Naruto just looked at Senju Hashirama below with a little regret. It is my greatest regret not to be able to fight against you when you were alive. Although Impure World reincarnation revives you, it limits your strength because of the carrier. Senju Hashirama said with a big laugh. Don't lose heart, boy. Even in my heyday, I can't compare to you now. Your strength has surpassed mine. Next, let's fight freely, turning Buddha on the top. Snapped. Senju Hashirama clapped his hands vigorously, and the countless palms behind the Buddha statue suddenly clenched their fists, and blasted towards the opposite Buddha statue. Every punch contains extremely strong power. The power that could easily crush mountains and change the entire terrain was released without reservation. Naruto showed no sign of weakness. He waved his hand suddenly, and the palm behind the Buddha statue also moved immediately. Countless fists carried huge power, and they clashed between the two Buddha statues. The huge force directly shattered the colliding fists, and the resulting explosion wave directly overturned the trees on the ground. The shock wave even blows away the crowd in an instant. At this moment, the power of destroying heaven and earth broke out completely. Amidst the violent confrontation, explosive sounds continued to spread into the ears. Suddenly at a certain moment, the sound disappeared from the ears. Everyone watched the frenzied attack between the two Buddha statues, and the powerful impact between the fist collisions was still shocking. But the sound disappeared. It's not that they're deaf. It's that the sound is so intense and frequent that it exceeds the limit that their ears can bear. The confrontation continued, but in the end Naruto had the upper hand. The Buddha statue on Naruto's side is bigger and has more palms. After an unknown number of palms were shattered, the upper Senju palm on Senju Hashirama's side has been shattered into countless pieces. And what he wants to meet are countless fists that are rapidly expanding. I lost. Senju Hashirama embraced the obvious outcome. There was even a satisfied smile on the corner of his mouth. With Konoha having such a guardian, he no longer needs to worry about the future of Konoha in the entire ninja world. Under the berserk force, the defenseless Senju Hashirama was shattered in an instant. With this level of damage, even Impure World reincarnation will take a long time to recover. Naruto exhaled slowly. It is also a declaration to defeat Senju Hashirama with Senju Hashirama's ninjutsu. Go at ease, the future of Konoha, as well as the future of the entire ninja world, I will lead well. War will never occur on this land again, I can assure you. Naruto said softly. Sudden. A person appeared behind him and hugged him tightly. It is Senju Tobirama. After a long recovery, Senju Tobirama's body has recovered. Then he rushed over immediately, intending to give Naruto the final test. You have already defeated brother, as long as you can survive this move, I will recognize all of you. As Senju Tobirama spoke, a hoarse voice came from him. That was the sound of detonators, and Naruto knew what he was going to face next. But all this Naruto had expected. Don't worry, it's only to this extent, it can't threaten me yet. Naruto said lightly. Yeah? A smile formed on the corners of Senju Tobirama's mouth. Then let me see. Forbidden technique tandem paper bombs. Boom explosion remembered. But that's just the beginning. During the explosion, countless detonating talisman clones were summoned, followed by a series of chain explosions. The roar continued to sound, and the explosion seemed endless. The scope of the explosion continued to spread, and the trapped people were destroyed first. Then comes the head of the Buddha statue, followed by the body. At last, the entire Buddha statue and the palm behind it all became fragments in the endless explosion. Here, is Naruto okay? Shikamaru was a little unsure. Neji immediately opened his eyes to look for the trace of Naruto. No sign of Naruto. Neji's face turned pale. Didn't find it. Does it mean that Naruto has been blasted too? Everyone thought of it, and their faces immediately became ugly. They couldn't believe that Naruto, who just showed invincible strength, would be killed by the bomb. No one can stop this infinite explosion. That is Naruto who has created countless miracles. They couldn't believe that Naruto would really die here. They are just about to unify the entire ninja world, and there are still many things waiting for them to do in the future. How can Naruto at this time? You think I'm dead? Naruto's chuckle reached their ears. Everyone froze for a moment, then turned around in ecstasy, and saw the intact Naruto standing behind them. Naruto, you're all right. That's great. Shikamaru and the others rushed forward in surprise, hugged Naruto, and the corners of their eyes gleamed with crystal light. They couldn't be happier. They all thought Naruto was dead just now. Really. Naruto didn't have a chance to escape using the blink technique after exploding himself with Senju Tobirama hugging him. His body also couldn't defend against such a violent chain explosion. However, this does not mean that he has no ability to escape. When Observation Haki foresaw Senju Tobirama's behavior, the reason why Naruto didn't hide was that he was 100% sure that he would not be hurt. And this confidence comes from the Mangekyo Sharingan pupil technique that he has not exposed yet. Naruto's Mangekyo pupil art is not Amaterasu, not reading, nor Kamui, distinguished heavenly gods. His Mangekyo pupil technique has the ability to change shape. Specifically, very similar to Flying Thunder God. It is all prepared in advance, and you can instantly transfer your position. It is a very convenient space-time pupil technique. As for Naruto, all his avatars have the ability to transfer. As long as he wants, he can go anywhere in the entire ninja world now. As for why Naruto appeared behind Shikamaru and the others, it's because he left marks on Shikamaru and others just in case. Once their lives are in danger, Naruto can arrive at the first time to save them. However, their lives were not in danger. Instead, Naruto escaped from Senju Tobirama's tandem paper bombs. Tandem paper bombs, as forbidden technique, was created by Senju Tobirama to coincide with impure world reincarnation. The detonating talisman, which can clone infinitely, will trigger a series of explosions that are hard to guard against after touching the target. It was so powerful that it even shattered Naruto's Senju Buddha statue. Of course, it is not that simple to achieve this kind of power. Tandem paper bombs can theoretically destroy everything. But only in theory, because it requires the chakra support of the releaser. If the amount of chakra is insufficient, it obviously cannot cause much damage. After all, chakra needs to be consumed every time the detonator is summoned. Therefore, although it is a forbidden technique, tandem paper bombs is only an A-level ninjutsu and does not reach the S-level standard. But people who fall into a rich amount of chakra, such as Senju Tobirama, can achieve the level of blowing up Naruto's Senju Buddha statue. You must know that the height of Naruto's Senju Buddha statue has reached more than 1,000 meters, and its volume is even more amazing. Even Senju Hashirama's Buddha statue can't beat Naruto's Buddha statue. As a result, Naruto's Buddha statue was destroyed by Senju Tobirama. If Naruto used this technique, even if Uchiha Madara gathered 9-tailed beasts and revived the 10 tails, it might not be able to withstand such an explosive attack. But alas, Naruto doesn't yet. And Naruto won't give Uchiha Madara the chance to collect tailed beasts either. The only tailed beast present is the 9 tails inside him. Uchiha Madara has no way of getting the other tailed beasts at all, and it is impossible to get the 9 tails out of his body. After the explosion, the bodies of Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama slowly recovered under the power of impure world reincarnation. The two looked at each other and couldn't help sighing softly. It's really scary for young people. I have no regrets in handing Konoha to such a junior. Hinata, have you found Naruto-kun? Little Sakura asked anxiously, and at the same time kept looking down in the air, trying to find Naruto. Hinata shook her head nervously. Not yet. Ino gritted his teeth and said, where did Naruto-kun go at this critical moment? Everyone needs his power right now. They couldn't help but feel anxious when they thought of the legends brought out by Orochimaru Impure World Reincarnation. An opponent of that level can only be defeated by Naruto. Tianshin didn't speak, but his eyes kept scanning back and forth. But the three of them only rely on the naked eye. How can they compare with Hinata, who observes with white eyes? Since Hinata said they couldn't find it, it's even more impossible for them to find it. Sudden. A loud noise came from behind, attracting their attention. They looked back nervously, and then saw 2 huge Buddha statues. What is that? Little Sakura stared blankly. This kind of thing is completely beyond the scope of her understanding. As that? Wood style? The color looks a lot like the color of wood. Ino squinted and watched. Tianshin was a little suspicious. Why too? Suddenly, they looked at each other. It's Ming Runjun. They never expected that Naruto, whom they had been looking for before, had returned to the frontal battlefield. Instead, they used this to stay away from the battlefield in the crisis. Now that they have found Naruto's location, they return immediately. On the way, they saw tall Buddha statues smashing shorter Buddha statues to pieces. But then, I saw the big Buddha statue being blown up by a series of explosions. This moment, their hearts were suddenly pulled up. No matter which one of Naruto's Buddha statue is, one of the two must belong to Naruto. Now that both statues are destroyed, that means Naruto must be in crisis. Mr. Naruto, Hinata screamed, pushing her speed to the limit. all of a sudden past the little Sakura, Ino and Tianshin. But the three followed closely behind, their faces full of worry. Fortunately, after getting close to a certain extent, Hinata finally saw Naruto's intact figure with his white eyes, and as soon as he relaxed, his speed suddenly slowed down. Even because the chakra in his body was unstable, he almost couldn't maintain the flying ninjutsu and fell from the sky. Still, Tianshin has sharp eyesight and quick hands, and pulls Hinata back. Thanks. Hinata gasped slightly. The burst of speed just now made her chakra too much. The previous battles have cost a lot of chakra, and she has been maintaining flying ninjutsu for a while, which is also a big test for her chakra. It's okay, you have to be careful. Hinata smiled and said. I'm just worried about. Her face turned red suddenly, but she still told the news about Naruto's safety. Naruto-kun is fine, I saw him with Neji brothers. Little Sakura and Ino felt relieved immediately. Huh? Suddenly, Hinata let out a little surprise, and turned her head to look sideways in surprise. There, Sasuke-kun seems to have passed out. The other three were shocked. Although I don't like the dragging Sasuke, everyone is a companion fighting side by side after all. At this time, it must not be left alone. The four flew over quickly, and saw Sasuke lying unconscious in a huge crater among the messy ruins. Little Sakura and Ino, who are better at medical ninjutsu, quickly checked him. After confirming Sasuke's situation, he was relieved. Fortunately, it's just that chakra was consumed too much and passed out. Just rest for a while and you'll recover on your own. Little Sakura wiped her forehead, a look of fear appeared on her face. Originally, their small team was not afraid of any enemies they encountered. Because of Naruto's invincible strength, and because Sasuke's display seems to be not weaker than Naruto's strength. But just now, they almost lost these two strongest companions. Fortunately, none of this happened. Otherwise, this will inevitably become a painful memory that will accompany them throughout their lives. It's not easy to move him casually now, I'll take care of him here. Little Sakura looked at the three of them and said. Hurry up and make peace with them, and do what we can by the way. While our powers don't work at this level, we can't just watch and do nothing. Ino shook his head and said. Let me help you, it's too tiring to rely on you alone. If an enemy appears, two people can also take care of one more. Little Sakura didn't refuse. Indeed, the situation is not clear now. If she stays alone but meets the enemy, she who needs to take care of Sasuke will definitely be at a loss. Hinata also shook her head and said. I'll stay too, just as I told you, our strength is not up to that level of battle, so do what we can do now. Taking good care of our injured companions is the only thing we can do now. And with me here, I will definitely not let any enemy approach you. As a warning function, the supercilious effect that can be exerted is too strong. It's simply impossible to ignore. Tien smiled and said. Since you all stay, I won't leave either. Anyway, we don't need our help over there, and Hinata can see over there, so Neji should have noticed us too. Little Sakura shook her head helplessly. You guys, really. However, her heart was warm. What a blessing to have these sisters. It would be even better if you don't grab Naruto-kun from me. Little Sakura thought selfishly. At the same time, his hands glowed green, healing Sasuke's injuries. Although there were no fatal injuries, Sasuke had a lot of injuries. Mostly scratches and the like. If left alone, there is still a risk of infection and inflammation. Can be treated or treated well. Ino helped with the treatment, and Hinata stared at the surrounding situation with blank eyes. Tianshin took out the scrolls and summoned a large number of ninja tools, then injected chakra into them, and buried them as explosive Hado tools nearby as traps. It will be ready soon. If an enemy appears, once Hinata finds out, Tianshin will immediately detonate the explosive ninja in that direction according to the guidance. Of course, if it is an enemy that cannot be easily detected, it will be more troublesome. But now Ju's attention is not here. Ju is now watching Orochimaru near Orochimaru. Once Orochimaru has a tendency to unlock the impure world reincarnation, Ju intends to step forward directly to control the big snake. After all, if you want to kill Naruto now, you can only rely on these three people from Orochimaru's impure world reincarnation summoning. Fortunately, Orochimaru himself has no intention of disarming impure world reincarnation. Naruto was hugged firmly by everyone, and there were people in front, back, left, and right. Looking at their surprised and joyful looks, they knew that their situation must have frightened them just now. But Naruto can't help it. He was hugged by Senju Tobirama at the time, and he wanted to leave only when Senju Tobirama used tandem paper bombs for a moment. Because, while embracing Naruto, Senju Tobirama imprinted the spell of Flying Thunder God on Naruto's clothes. If he dodges ahead of time, With Senju Tobarama's translation ability and the speed of Flying Thunder God, he will definitely be able to catch up. That's when it's really dangerous, fortunately. Naruto managed to fool Senju Tobarama, but he also succeeded in fooling the other spectators. In the eyes of Naruto, who was surrounded by the crowd, a light flashed. Muscles tense for a moment but then, relax immediately. Everyone didn't notice it. At this time. Suddenly there was a scream from behind. Ah! Nagato! Conan exclaimed, and retreated quickly holding Nagato, who was covering his eyes. At the same time, his eyes were fixed on the front. In front of her, suddenly appeared Uchiha Madara, who did not know when to appear. Uchiha Madara's hands were dripping with blood, and there were 2 Rinegons in his palms. What belongs to me should be returned to me. Uchiha Madara said lightly, and then took out a glass container full of liquid, put 2 Rinegons in it, put it in the scroll and put it away. Then, he turned to look at Shikamaru and others who were waiting in full force, and Naruto, who was indifferent in the middle, showing a proud smile. It seems that you are very confident in your own strength. You obviously discovered my existence, but you didn't remind them. Do you want to fight me in my prime? Conan heard this and looked at Naruto in disbelief. Obviously she and Nagato have trusted Naruto, but they did not expect to be betrayed by this sudden. Now that Nagato's eyes are taken away, more than half of his power has been lost. And I'm going to be blind from now on, Naruto said lightly. Those 2 eyes are constantly oppressing his body, keeping them will only shorten his lifespan. It doesn't matter if it's gone, anyway, I can give him a new pair of eyes anytime. And, you're right, Uchiha Madara, I do want to fight you in your prime. Swish. Swish. Along with the voice of body flicker technique, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama also flew over. But this time, they were standing behind Naruto. Obviously, it also shows their camp at the moment. As for Orochimaru's control, with the strength they have now, they can easily remove Orochimaru's control over them. As long as Orochimaru wants to control them, they can get rid of the state of impure world reincarnation in an instant. If you think that by defeating these 2 guys, you will be able to fight me in my prime, then you are delusional. Uchiha Madara said proudly. I admit that you are indeed a genius who is hard to come by in 1,000 years, and you have such a powerful strength at this age. However, there is still a very long distance from what I was before. Uchiha Madara with Rinnegan has a lot of confidence. Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama can at most lift the status of impure world reincarnation, and then return to the Pure Land. But he Uchiha Madara can be revived directly with Rinnegan. This is where Uchiha Madara leans. And Uchiha Madara looked at Naruto, who also had Rinnegan, and knew what Naruto's plan was. You're even more arrogant than I thought, Naruto said lightly. But this is like you, the genius of the Uchiha clan. Back then, Sasuke had the same thoughts as you, but he wouldn't show off in front of me if he played a few more times. Uchiha Madara's face dropped, and he said with a cold snort. Slick-tongued brat, I will teach you a lesson today. Behind Uchiha Madara, Nagato, covering his eyes, spoke softly to Conan. Let's leave quickly, it will be very dangerous here. Conan nodded quickly, and flew away quickly with Nagato. Let's disperse too. Although I can protect you in the next battle, I will definitely be distracted. Shikamaru and others also know that this is not the time to be willful. They want to help Naruto, they just can't hold Naruto back. Let's help you, Naruto boy. Senju Hashirama stepped forward and said with a serious face. Senju Tobarama also took a step forward, however. Shuilala there was a sound of chains. The 2 looked at the golden chains that bound them in shock. Adamantine sealing chains. Why? Senju Hashirama didn't understand what Naruto was doing. Did I say I want to help? Don't you trust me? Senju Tobarama also said anxiously. Uchiha Madara's strength is unfathomable, and now he has Rinnegan, the strength must be extraordinary. Now is not the time to be willful, let's fight together and eradicate him completely to protect Konoha and the entire ninja world. Naruto shook his head and said, sorry, 2 seniors. But, this is my fight, and I don't want anyone to interfere. Then, he looked to Uchiha Madara and said, change to a place where no one will bother you. Uchiha Madara appreciates Naruto's confidence, but it also means that Naruto thinks he can beat himself. This made Uchiha Madara very upset. The whole face was pulled down, extremely gloomy. Okay. Let's go to the Valley of the End, Naruto frowned. Deliberately choose the position where you were defeated. It seems that you can't stand your own failures, is it? Snort. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly and didn't speak. It's just that the whole person flew up, and then flew towards the Valley of the End at an extremely fast speed. Naruto, the enemy this time is no small matter. Shikamaru stepped forward worried, trying to persuade Naruto to fight with Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama. But was stopped by Naruto looking up. I've made a decision and I'm not moving. On the contrary, you guys, did you forget something? Neji frowned. If you're talking about Hinata and them, they're safe now, I just saw them. Tooth screamed. That guy Sasuke. Didn't this guy named Madara fight with Sasuke just now? Now he's here, but Sasuke isn't here, could it be that Sasuke? Others only remembered. All of them looked gloomy. Although usually I can't understand Sasuke's attitude of ignoring everyone. But after all, we are classmates. Now realizing that Sasuke's situation is not good, everyone's heart sank. Naruto smiled and said, he's fine, little Sakura and Ino are treating him right now, you guys should go and watch over him too. You don't have to worry about the fighting. I'll take care of it. Just a ghost from the past. Ghosts from the past? Uchiha Madara's face completely darkened. Young people nowadays are really arrogant. Then let you see the strength of me, the ghost of the past. Wood style the tree world is coming. The ground rioted again. The ground, which had been messed up by a series of battles before, was once again covered by lush forests. But Naruto just chuckled. It seems that you haven't noticed our previous battle? Then, Naruto clapped his hands together. Wood style the tree world is coming. The ground shook even more intensely, and countless trees were entangled together, strangling each other with tyrannical force. Uchiha Madara froze for a moment. My heart said that I was able to use wood style only after transplanting Senju Hashirama's cells. How did you guys know wood style? From this point of view, Uchiha Madara really did not see the process of the battle. He just took his eyes back first. Moreover, looking at the taller and stronger trees than the forest he summoned, Uchiha Madara knew that the incredible boy in front of him might have surpassed him and Senju Hashirama in wood style attainments. But, how is this possible? A boy who is only 7 years old. How many unbelievable miracles will be created? If it was at their time, it would have been incredible to say that a 7-year-old boy could fight them. As a result, this boy is not only able to fight with them, but also back and forth, even stronger than them in some aspects. How can the proud Uchiha Madara believe this? Damn it, I will never admit it. The huge dark blue chakra appeared, and turned into the incomparably tall and complete body Susanoo. This is a power that you will never be able to grasp. Uchiha Madara is confident that this trick is absolutely impossible for Naruto. After all, this is the patent of the Uchiha clan. To this, Naruto just smiled lightly. Then, the red chakra emerged from his body, and then turned into a full-body Susanoo of the same height. How can it be? Uchiha Madara's eyes were almost protruding from their sockets. This is completely beyond his imagination, Naruto said lightly. Don't forget, I have the same eyes as you. How do you think I got such eyes? Uchiha Madara was taken aback for a moment, then thought that Rinnegan was promoted step by himself. Immediately he understood that Naruto's eyes were also raised in this way. However, Naruto is not from Uchiha at all. How did he get the Sharingan? Could it be that like Kakashi, it was gifted by other Uchiha people? Never mind. What are you doing with so much? So what if he is a genius? How could it compare to my decades of combat experience? I'll let you see what real shock is, Tengai Shinsei. Uchiha Madara and his Susanoo formed different seals at the same time, and an astonishingly huge meteorite suddenly fell from the sky. This huge meteorite with a diameter of more than 3 kilometers covered the sky, and the shadow of spleen shrouded everyone's heads. But Naruto just stretched out his hand lightly, and threw a small black ball up. Planetary devastation. Whoosh, the ball flew into the sky, and its powerful penetrating force directly passed through the meteorite and flew to a higher place. No, not penetration. It is a power like a black hole, absorbing all the objects it comes into contact with. And after rising to the highest point, the crazy suction began to release. The huge meteorite no longer landed, but began to fly towards the black ball, and shattered and collapsed under the powerful suction of the black ball. Eventually, it's all absorbed and disappears. Hateful. Uchiha Madara roared. At this time, a second, larger meteorite fell in the sky. The meteorite summoned by Tengai Shinsei is not just one piece. At this time, the small ball of planetary devastation no longer releases the suction. What to do with this larger meteorite? In the worried eyes of others, Naruto just pointed a sword finger. Behind his Susanoo, the huge sword box was opened immediately, and countless red flying swords made of chakra flew into the sky like a waterfall flowing backwards. These flying swords with powerful penetrating power easily disintegrated the huge meteorite, and finally only some gravel remained when it fell on the ground. Afterwards, Naruto looked at Uchiha Madara indifferently. That indifferent gaze seemed to say, "That's it?" Uchiha Madara has blue veins on her forehead. He wished to tear Naruto into pieces immediately, but his rationality told him that it would not be easy to do it now. At least, now his body does not allow him to do this level of things. Wood-style multiple wood clone technique. Swish swish swish. A dozen Uchiha Madara appear, and all unleash full-bodied Susanoo. Seems to be trying to overwhelm Naruto with numbers. However, Naruto just smiled disdainfully. Didn't taking the initiative to disperse your own chakra make your own strength weaker? I didn't expect that you would choose such an approach. Naruto was not disappointed. After all, the opponent he is looking forward to is not the current Uchiha Madara. The impure world reincarnation body limited Uchiha Madara's overall strength after all. That being the case, let Uchiha Madara wake up completely. Let him understand that if he wants to defeat Uzumaki Naruto, he must show all his strength. Do you want to outnumber me? Then let you see what the real quantity is. Naruto's eyes froze. In an instant, tens of thousands of red flying swords flying in the sky gradually changed their appearance. Uchiha Madara looked intently, and then found that these red flying swords gradually became spherical, and they were spinning in an extremely fast way. Unlimited Rasengan combos. Naruto smashed tens of thousands of Rasengans into Uchiha Madara's Susanoo almost as if controlling 10,000 swords. The overwhelming Rasengan is impossible to dodge, and Susanoo's target is too big to dodge. Rumbling continuous explosions continued to sound. This immediately reminded Senju Tobirama of his technique. Tandem paper bombs. But tandem paper bombs is a concentrated explosion aimed at one point. And Naruto's technique is a devastating blow within a certain range. What a frightening junior. As Senju Tobirama said, he was once again reduced to ashes by the aftermath of the explosion. Beside him, Senju Hashirama had the same fate. Uchiha Madara did not agree with Naruto to change the battlefield. Two people who were held in place by the adamantine ceiling chains were directly dusted. Although, the two will soon be able to recover as before. The roar lasted for a full minute. The ground trembled constantly, as if an extremely violent earthquake had occurred. The forest they summoned turned into scorched earth again. Fortunately, Shikamaru and others have already learned flying ninjutsu, and they ran far away at this time. Although they were affected by the shockwave of the explosion, they were only a little embarrassed and their lives were not in danger. Don't look at the teeth, this level of fighting is beyond what we can handle. Let's hurry up and meet little Sakura and the others, and take Sasuke to a safe place to talk. Shikamaru turned back and yelled at his teeth. I know. Tooth turned back unwillingly. He also wanted to fight the enemy vigorously like this. But he also knows that this is just his extravagant wish. But he will not give up, he is still very young. If he can be given enough time, he may not be able to reach the level of the two of them now. Although, the chances are slim, but Teeth won't give up. Let's work harder in the future, Teeth. Shao Li looked at Ya's eyes, and knew that this was a person who refused to admit defeat, just like himself. That's right, he stretched out his thumb, and showed his white fang smile that was extremely white to the point of glaring, wanting to cheer him up. If it was usual, Ya would definitely ignore it. But it is different now, and now Ya feels that his motivation is extremely sufficient. Hearing Shao Li's encouragement, he immediately yelled strangely. Oh, that's right, Shao Li. We must work harder. We must not let those two guys Naruto and Sasuke fall too far behind us. Shikamaru and the others smiled helplessly. Although they are also unwilling, but they are more rational. Knowing that no matter how much effort they put in, it is impossible to reach the height of those two people at this time. That is not something that can be surpassed by hard work. What matters more is talent. Although, their talent is not bad. But compared with Naruto and Sasuke, there is still a big gap. And they are working hard, and it is impossible for Naruto to relax. Based on their understanding of Naruto, even if they have reached the level of number 1 in the ninja world, it is impossible to relax their attitude towards themselves. It seems that behind Naruto there is always an invisible enemy chasing him. Not even Uchiha Madara. Black Zetsu frowned slightly, but did not lose hope. Just as Naruto was looking forward to fighting Uchiha Madara at his prime, Black Zetsu knew exactly how strong Uchiha Madara was at his prime. However, Orochimaru doesn't seem to be aware of this. Seeing Naruto's unparalleled fighting power, he was really excited. I was so excited that my body couldn't help trembling slightly. Amazing. Simply the most perfect work. Unfortunately, this is a work that I will never have. Orochimaru shouted excitedly. Even if it was an unwilling word, it was said out loud. He vented his excited emotions loudly, completely different from the calm him in the past. Just because everything he saw just now was too shocking, he couldn't calm down his excitement for a long time. Naruto first defeated the brothers Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama, and defeated a man who was honored as the god of the ninja world. Just defeated another ninja god, Uchiha Madara. Now, the defeat of the two supernatural powers in the ninja world is enough to prove that Naruto's strength is the best in the world, right? Orochimaru looked at the figure surrounded by the fiery red giant in the sky full of greed. If possible, he very much wants this extremely young body full of unlimited strength. But he knew very well that he would never be able to do such a thing. Because now he doesn't even have the qualifications to fight with Naruto. There is just too much difference between the two. However, the battle is over. Naruto, what are you waiting for? If you wait any longer, they will recover. Do you still want to continue fighting? After Orochimaru got excited, he was puzzled by Naruto who didn't move. Although Orochimaru also cannot see the situation inside the fog. But he could really feel Uchiha Madara's body crumbling and slowly recovering. Obviously this is a good time to seal Uchiha Madara. Why didn't Naruto act? Certainly, he doesn't mind continuing to watch a fight. This kind of top battle scene in the ninja world can be said to be less than one watching. Of course he hopes to see more, and it will definitely be very helpful for his future research on forbidden technique. However, the distance was too far, and he couldn't see more details, which was the most regrettable thing for him. But he didn't dare to approach rashly, otherwise the aftermath of the battle would not be something he could bear. The roar stopped. Dust drifts. Everything changed from extremely dynamic to extremely quiet. Although dust blocks the view, for Naruto who has observation haki. These are nothing at all. He looked at Uchiha Madara, who was slowly recovering in the dust, and waited slowly. And in the dust, Uchiha Madara's head was recovered first, followed by the body, and then the limbs. At this time, Uchiha Madara was calm, and did not fall into negative emotions because her body was broken up. For Naruto's strength, Uchiha Madara has given enough recognition at this time. With his current impure world reincarnation body, it is impossible to be Naruto's opponent at this time. So, he has to make a change. I didn't expect that besides Hashirama, there would be enemies who pushed me to this extent. But it doesn't matter, this is the meaning of resurrection. Uchiha Madara's expression gradually became excited. He is also a fighter. Now seeing another strong player who is not inferior to her own strength, Uchiha Madara is completely excited. He is looking forward to continuing this battle until he wins. Since this is the case, then this obstructive body can no longer be needed. Although I won't die, it seriously lowers my strength. Uchiha Madara took out the Rinnegan from Nagato. Then he resorted to the summoning technique. Boom. Black Zetsu appeared in front of Uchiha Madara. Give these eyes to Obito, and let him bring me back to life. Uchiha Madara gave Rinnegan to Black Zetsu. At this time, Uchiha Madara still thinks that Black Zetsu is the incarnation of his own will, and he is full of trust in him. And Black Zetsu also took advantage of Uchiha Madara's trust to plan this plan to this day. Yes. Black Zetsu took Rinnegan and disappeared into the ground. Apparently, it was time to find Obito. After Obito fled quickly before, it didn't take long to run back. Although life is threatened by Naruto, but Obito would prefer to see Naruto's death. Only in this way will his plan have any hope of success. Obito, you are here. There is a sense of surprise in the exaggerated voice. Obito couldn't help shivering. Looking back, his expression recovered after he found that it was Ju. As for the speaker, no one has to guess that it must be White Zetsu. Judging from Black Zetsu's hoarse voice and past performance, he would never say such a thing. But Obito is also a little curious about absolutely appearing here, and seems to be looking for him everywhere. How did you come here? Could it be that Naruto guy came here? Obito's complexion changed suddenly, and Uzumaki appeared in his eye sockets, and he was about to run away immediately. No. Black Zetsu said with a slight breath. The battle is frantic, and Uchiha Madara needs your help. With that said, Black Zetsu took out the glass container containing Rinnegan and threw it to Obito. Quick. Put on your eyes, and go to the battlefield to support Uchiha Madara. This is your only chance to kill Naruto. The last sentence was like the last straw that broke the camel's back. Although Obito was very puzzled, he opened the container and put a Rinnegan in the empty left eye socket. The Sharingan in the right eye was not replaced. Although Rinnegan is very powerful, but Obito relies heavily on his Mangekyo pupil technique Kamui. So even with a higher level Rinnegan, Obito is not tempted at all. Moreover, one Rinnegan is enough to activate the ability. Black Zetsu didn't care either. One eye was enough to activate that spell. Accepting Rinnegan, Obito immediately felt the powerful power of Rinnegan. Let's go. Obito immediately became confident. In this way, at least in the battle of Rinnegan, he has the power to fight. Otherwise, in front of those two pairs of Rinnegan, he, the Sharingan, would not even have a chance to play. I'll take you there. The two hurried back to the place of battle. But after arriving at the place, Obito immediately sensed something strange. The battlefield was in a mess, as if it had experienced an extremely fierce battle. However, the key lies in the fact that both sides of the battle waited in place leisurely, as if they were specially waiting for his arrival. Especially Uzumaki Naruto, sitting on top of the ruins, looking down at him, as if looking at a dead person. That gaze is so indifferent, without any emotion. Whether positive or negative. Finally come hash. Uchiha Madara said rather impatiently. The two did wait for a while. After all, there is no point in continuing to fight. In the state of impure world reincarnation, Uchiha Madara can't beat Naruto. Naruto can't kill Uchiha Madara in the state of impure world reincarnation, and Naruto is looking forward to the full Uchiha Madara, so he waits with him. Although, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama wanted to take the opportunity to fight, but were stopped by Naruto. In desperation, I can only wait. After all, they can't beat Naruto either. Seeing this situation, Obito immediately knew something was wrong. Kamui is about to start. But in the next moment, he found that his body was out of his control. The pitch-black color covered his body. Uchiha Madara said indifferently. Did you trust Black Zetsu too much? He is my clone of will. Obito hates that, but now he is completely speechless. Even though he was struggling crazily, he could only watch helplessly as Black Zetsu controlled his body and made mudras with his hands. Reincarnation. Born. Technique. This requires the forced use of ninjutsu that consumes the life of the user, and of course the user is Uchiha Madara, who has been waiting for a long time. I saw a ray of light falling on Uchiha Madara's body. The appearance of his body has not changed much, but the inside has undergone earth-shaking changes. Not bad. Sure enough, this body is the most suitable for me. Uchiha Madara returned to his peak state as his body recovered. He came back together with his proud attitude. Just then, his Rinnegan crumbled into pieces and slowly disappeared. But that's what Uchiha Madara expected. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been the first to sneak up and snatch the eye back from Nagato before. He came directly in front of Obito in an instant, stretched out his hand and took out the Rinnegan from Obito's eye socket. At this time, Obito is still not dead, but his state has fallen into a very bad situation, and he is not far from death. If his body hadn't been transformed by wood style, he might have already died unwillingly. But the time left for him is running out. Black Zetsu also let go of Obito's grip. Now Obito has no power to resist, and there is no need to continue to control it. Then Black Zetsu respectfully gave the other eye to Uchiha Madara as well. Uchiha Madara put the eyes into the orbits one by one, and the strong recovery ability obtained by transplanting Senju Hashirama cells immediately restored the eye nerves. After a brief period of blindness, he regained his sight immediately. This feeling is so comfortable. Before her death, Kamo Madara awakened the Rinnegan in a state of old age. Even though he got the supreme eye, it didn't mean anything to Uchiha Madara, whose strength was gradually fading at that time. So Uchiha Madara had to use tricks, just to be able to regain the fighting power of the peak period like today, and complete Project Tsuki no Mi. But not in a hurry now. Before solving Naruto, there is no need to continue to open Project Tsuki no Mi. Mentioning Naruto, Uchiha Madara raised his head and saw Naruto standing in front of Obito, feeling very indifferent. Obito stared at Naruto with hateful eyes, opened and closed his mouth several times, but couldn't even speak. It's ugly and it makes me sad to think that my parents died because of a fool like you. After going down, remember to repent of your crimes. If you know how to repent. Fire escape, great fireball technique. A simple fire style, with scorching heat falling on Obito's body. In just a few moments, Obito was burned to ashes. With this fire style achievement, even if you say that you are a member of Uchiha's tribe, I believe it. Uchiha Madara said in admiration. He didn't waver at all about Obito's death. It was originally just a puppet for temporary planning when he died. When you die, you die. Anyway, he is alive now, and there is no need for Obito to stay. Naruto didn't care either. It's just a clown who has been played with by others, and there is nothing worth learning from. It's not worth his attention at all. Turning his head, Naruto said to Uchiha Madara. The real battle is about to begin. Uchiha Madara looked expectantly. I'm already getting impatient. Fire style, great fireball technique. It is said to be Great Fireball, but what comes out of Uchiha Madara's mouth is simply a wall of fire. The diameter exceeded hundreds of meters, covering everything in front of it. It's true that Uchiha Madara saw Naruto's fire style just now, and he also felt itchy. But what he didn't expect was that when Naruto saw this, he also made a shot. Moreover, it is fiercer than his. In this regard, Shikamaru's evaluation is yes. Dare to compete with Naruto in fire style, I really can't think about it. It seems that even Uchiha Madara, the god of ninja world, can't compare with Naruto in fire style. I see. The 100-meter wall of fire in front of Uchiha Madara was instantly engulfed by the hundreds of meters of Great Fireball. The scorching flames rushed towards the face, so Uchiha Madara could only flee in embarrassment. There are some burn marks on the body. However, with his strong recovery ability, the injury was fleeting. Although there is no serious problem. However, Uchiha Madara's face is a bit uneasy because he is inferior in fire style, which the Uchiha family is best at. However, what surprised him the most was how many surprises Naruto could bring him. Having Rinnegan at his age is incredible. What's more, he has a strong attainment in other ninjutsu. Wood style is stronger than me, and now there is fire style that is many times stronger than me. Uchiha Madara is very worried. The escapism he uses next, Naruto can also use it, and it is stronger than him. Just use this trick to try it out. Wheel tomb, border prison. 4 shadows that ordinary people cannot see appeared beside him, and then charged toward Naruto with Uchiha Madara. This is an ability unique to Uchiha Madara. An invisible clone that can only be seen by those who own the Rinnegan. It can resist the enemy's attack, and can also launch a surprise attack on the enemy. But all this is meaningless in front of Naruto. After all, Naruto also has Rinnegan now. Uchiha Madara also knows this. He just wanted to test whether Naruto can also use chakra. The answer is, Naruto can't. Facing the onslaught of Uchiha Madara and the 4 shadows, Naruto had to dodge. The speed between the two sides is too fast. There is no time for ninjutsu confrontation, and they can only rely on physical skills to fight. Seeing this, Uchiha Madara felt relieved. At least he has the advantage in numbers. Although the shadow of Wheel Tomb and Border Prison cannot materialize for too long, it will return to his body after a period of time. But at least at this moment, he has the advantage. But is this really the case? Hitting, Uchiha Madara felt something was wrong. Why can't I hit him? It was obviously surrounded by 5 people, but in the end they couldn't even touch the hairs on Naruto's body? How can it be? Obviously the speed difference between the two sides is not too much. This ability to dodge is too pervert. This is also normal. Under normal conditions, even 20 or 30 people besieging Naruto at the same time can dodge with ease. This is only 4 more people. What is it? Nothing counts. Moreover, the shadow created by Wheel Tomb and Border Prison lies in its concealment, and its greatest advantage is that it cannot be observed by non-Rinnegans. Not afraid of ninjutsu damage, but also quietly close to the enemy for a surprise attack, this is the most terrifying place in the Tomb of the Wheel. But if you can see it, it's just 4 ordinary Shadow Clone. Maybe it's not as good as Shadow Clone. At least the number of Shadow Clone is much more than the number of shadows in the round tomb. The siege went on for some time without any results for Uchiha Madara. Seeing that the shadow of Wheel Tomb Boundary Prison was about to return to the main body, he immediately retreated to create a distance. He can't beat 5 against 1, and he must be even worse when he is the only one left. Seeing this, Naruto didn't pursue him either. Is this all your strength? The voice was full of deep disappointment. That expression seemed to say, I have waited for so long, and this is the result? Uchiha Madara's face is down. Now the fun has just begun. Summoning technique Geto Statue, boom. The husk of 10 tails, Geto Statue is summoned. Chakra Dragon. In an instant, a purple dragon-shaped chakra spewed out from Geto Statue's mouth, and rushed to Naruto's face extremely quickly. The dragon-shaped chakra passed through Naruto's body in an instant. Upon seeing this, Uchiha Madara immediately said, it's done. However, Uchiha Madara soon discovered that the chakra dragon had not absorbed the chakra from Naruto. Naruto's voice also entered Uchiha Madara's ears at this time. What did you say? Does that slow speed want to attack me? Uchiha Madara turned back with a gloomy face, and saw Naruto standing behind him with his arms crossed. Naruto didn't take the opportunity to attack. He knew that Uchiha Madara's strength was more than that. He is expecting Uchiha Madara to show more powerful strength, and then defeat him dignifiedly. But at this time, after seeing Uchiha Madara summoning Geto Statue summoning, an anxious look appeared on the black face. Geto Statue is the body of 10 tails, but as the inner tail beast, only one is currently on the scene. To revive his mother, Otsutsuki Kagaya, requires 10 tails to be fully revived. At this moment, Black Zetsu's heart was extremely anxious. In fact, he sent White Zetsu to induce those Jinchuriki to go here at the beginning of the battle, so that Uchiha Madara had a chance to resurrect 10 tails and become Jinchuriki of 10 tails. However, Black Zetsu's plan had long been expected by Naruto. At this moment, the 3000 Avatar Brigade is spread all over the ninja world, under the coverage of observation haki. Nothing can escape from his perception. So, at the beginning of these White Zetsu actions, Naruto has already noticed. Those Jinchuriki were all controlled and protected by Naruto. Black Zetsu's plans were shattered from the start. While Naruto is strong right now, he is not yet at the level where he can stand against Otsutsuki Kagaya. Otsutsuki Kaguya's powers are completely unreasonable. Even Naruto has to admit that if he is not careful, he will be wiped out. Therefore, for the sake of safety, it is better to let her continue to be sealed. At that time, as long as Black Zetsu is eradicated together, there is no need to worry about Otsutsuki Kagaya being resurrected. This point, Black Zetsu is still unclear. He just anxiously awaits the actions of the White Zetsus. Why so slow? If this continues, I'm afraid Uchiha Madara will die too. The battle in the field continued again, and the two sides were very lively when you came and went. But anyone with a discerning eye can see that neither side has tried their best, as if they are testing each other, and they really want to wait for something. Very simple. Naruto is waiting for Uchiha Madara to pull out all the stops. And Uchiha Madara, like Black Zetsu, is also waiting for the arrival of the tail beasts. There's no need to wait. Naruto saw through Uchiha Madara's thoughts at a glance. Jinchuriki will not come, and neither will the natural-tailed beasts. Uchiha Madara's complexion suddenly darkened. He didn't expect that Naruto actually saw through his plan directly. The Gedo statue, the shell of the 10 tails, is summoned in order to put all the tail beast chakra inside. Then seal the 10 tails in his body. In this way, he was able to reach the legendary level of power of the Sage of Six Paths. Only in this way, he will be able to use infinite Tsukuyomi, and make the whole world fall into illusion, so that there will be no more wars. But all this is just wishful thinking of Uchiha Madara. Naruto knows the truth about infinite Tsukuyomi. That's just one of the conditions for collecting chakra and resurrecting Otsutsuki Kagaya, who was in seal. It's a pity that Uchiha Madara was played by Black Zetsu in the applause, and she didn't know that the ideal she was trying to achieve was just a beautiful dream woven by others. After all, dreams are just dreams and cannot become reality. So, Naruto dismissed the case of Otsutsuki Kaguya's resurrection from the very beginning. That is, 10 tails will not be resurrected, and naturally no one can use the body of 10 tails to achieve 6 paths mode. Naturally, there is no possibility of resurrecting Otsutsuki Kagaya. From the very beginning, Naruto had no intention of bringing the alien back to life. The object Naruto wants to fight is Uchiha Madara, not Otsutsuki Kagaya, who has no combat experience and only uses his powerful abilities indiscriminately. Such an enemy, even if defeated, does not have the slightest sense of accomplishment. I won't bring you back to life 10 tails, Naruto said lightly. You even know about 10 tails? Uchiha Madara suddenly looked surprised. No one should know about this except him and Obito. After all, this is the content engraved on the stone tablet under the Minami shrine of the Uchiha clan. Naruto, an outsider, how could he know the content above? Sudden. Uchiha Madara thought of Sasuke. Sasuke possessed Mangekyo Sharingan at a young age. According to Uchiha Madara's understanding, Sasuke must have known what was written on the stele. And Sasuke obviously has a lot to do with Naruto. How Naruto knew about the existence of 10 tails could only be guided by Sasuke. This can also explain why Naruto is not a member of the Uchiha family, but can evolve to Rinnegan step by step through Sharingan. This question originally plagued Uchiha Madara as well. But at this moment, he suddenly realized. I told him that the idiots of the Uchiha family can't be kept. I didn't expect this guy Obito to be so good at this. Uchiha Madara said through gritted teeth. He's done it, but he failed. Naruto speaks for Obito. I shot him myself and beat him away. The person you picked is too weak, Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara looked up, staring at Naruto viciously. Many white Zetsu emerged from the body of 10 tails behind him. This is 1,000 years ago. Otsutsuki Kagaya used infinite Tsukuyomi to make people fall into an illusion thousands of years ago, and was gradually transformed into a special life form by 10 tails. White Zetsu can no longer be an animal, to be precise, it should be a moving plant. But Uchiha Madara is not at all clear about this. He simply thought that White Zetsu was a unique creature created by himself using 10 tails and Hashirama cells. In fact, all this is the illusion that Black Zetsu made him. As soon as the White Zetsu army appeared, they rushed towards Naruto immediately. They didn't feel the huge gap in strength between the two sides at all, and charged forward fearlessly. But in this level of battle, there is obviously no room for White Zetsu to intervene. Wood-style unlimited cutting technique. Naruto didn't even shoot with his hands this time, and moved according to his thoughts. Countless sharp wooden thorns suddenly appeared on the surface, piercing through all the White Zetsu, hanging. It's like the meat on a kebab. But this degree of penetrating injury is not fatal to White Zetsu, whose body structure is completely different. They still want to struggle to escape and continue to attack Naruto. But how could Naruto's attack end so easily? The strength of the White Zetsu's struggle became weaker and weaker, and finally they all hung weakly, unable to even move. The chakra and vitality in their bodies were all absorbed in an extremely fast way, and passed into the ground along the wooden thorns. Soon, a gigantic flower burst out from the ground. Absorbing the enemy's chakra is also one of the characteristics of wood style. This is one of the tricky things about wood style. Even ninjutsu's chakra, wood style can sometimes be absorbed. So even in the face of fire style, wood style is not at all inferior. Looking at the gradually expanding buds, Uchiha Madara had a bad feeling in his heart. But at the same time, it also made him very curious. He has never seen this kind of wood style. It's not the same as the arrival of the flower and tree world that he knows. Naruto's wood style only creates a single word, and the flower tree world will create a flowering forest, which can not only paralyze the enemy with pollen, but also absorb the enemy's chakra to replenish itself. But curiosity is curiosity, and Uchiha Madara also knows that this flower must not be allowed to bloom. Otherwise, something very scary is bound to happen. Chakra Dragon. Uchiha Madara once again controls the chakra dragon that spits out purple from the Ten Tails shell. The same as to absorb chakra, Ten Tails' ability to absorb is not weak. Although it's just a shell. But this time Naruto did not dodge, but dodged to the front of Bud, facing Chakra Dragon. In Naruto's hand, he was holding a strangely shaped kunai. If Senju Tobirama could see it, he would definitely feel that the mantra of Kumu is very familiar. Because that is the curse seal of the Flying Thunder God technique. And what Naruto has to do is also very simple. Flying Thunder God guides mine. Kunai was thrown, and the moment it touched the Chakra Dragon, the Flying Thunder God activated and directly transferred the Chakra Dragon to other directions. But because the tail of the Chakra Dragon was connected to the Ten Tails shell, the Ten Tails shell also flew to an unknown place. Varied, Uchiha Madara was shocked. But Naruto had already flashed in front of him, hitting Uchiha Madara hard in the face with an unreserved punch. The figure of Uchiha Madara flying upside down broke through the sound barrier and flew out at a speed exceeding the speed of sound. Everything you encounter along the way is smashed to pieces. Uchiha Madara also nearly collapsed and nearly passed out. Naruto didn't chase after him, but waiting for the moment when the buds open. This is also the first time he uses this ninjutsu, and he doesn't know what this bud can conceive. Yes. Even the performer himself doesn't know what kind of people will be bred by this technique. Soon. All White Zetsu's chakra and life force are drained. At this time, the flower buds had grown to a height of thousands of meters, and the diameter of the chassis exceeded 5 kilometers. Such a behemoth is located in the center of this battlefield. The crowd watching from a distance only knew that this was a technique used by Naruto. But I don't know what is the use of this technique. But just looking at it, it feels unusual. Moreover, a very strong breath of life is brewing among the flowers. It always feels like something is scary inside. Ya couldn't help shivering, hugging his shoulders with both hands, trembling. Akamaru lay on his head, also whimpering in fear. The animal instincts in the two people were activated, and they felt a life-threatening breath. Others do not have such a keen sense of teeth. Neji and Hinata opened their eyes by typing at the first time, but they couldn't see the situation inside through the flowers. All they can see is the extremely large amount of chakra that is seen by the pit-tail. Regardless of what was inside, the fixation was amazing. Shikamaru said with a serious face. At this time, Sasuke woke up leisurely. Under the continuous treatment of little Sakura and Ino, his consciousness finally recovered. This is me. Suddenly, Sasuke's face changed, thinking of his situation before he fell into a coma. Sasuke remembers clearly that he was fighting Uchiha. But suddenly, Uchiha Madara burst out with unimaginable power and defeated him directly. This is the first time he has lost so simply and neatly. Of course, in the battle with Naruto during the Chunin exam, he didn't feel that he was defeated cleanly. But after an extremely fierce battle, he was defeated by a narrow margin. The proud Uchiha Sasuke will not admit that there is a huge gap between himself and his peers. Don't worry, you're fine. Little Sakura saw Sasuke wake up, and after a word of comfort, she turned around and said happily, "Sasuke is awake." Only then did the others realize that Sasuke had woken up. They came here one after another. You guys are too messy, fighting against such a powerful enemy by yourself. If it wasn't for the fact that the other party didn't intend to kill you, I'm afraid you would have died. It's also fortunate that the previous battle didn't affect you, otherwise it would be very difficult for you to survive. Anyway, you can't move easily now, just lie down first. Seeing that everyone was there, Sasuke knew he was really safe. His body relaxed, and he immediately felt pain signals coming from all over his body. Sasuke couldn't help but groaned in pain, but still struggled to stand up with the support of little Sakura and Ino. Who's fighting Madara? Is it Naruto? As he spoke, he raised his head and saw the huge flower bone. What is that? When did such a big flower appear? And what's going on around here? It was dilapidated just like the scene where the 18th level wind blew past. What happened when he was unconscious? It was Naruto. Naruto knocked Uchiha Madara out. This flower bud was also made by Naruto. I don't know what he wants to do. In short, we try to stay as far away as possible, so as not to be affected by the aftermath of the battle. As they spoke, the others stepped back a little further. Sasuke looked at them cautiously, not understanding why. When he fought Uchiha Madara before, he had never seen these guys run so far. However, Sasuke's attention was quickly drawn to other things. You say Naruto knocked Uchiha Madara away? He turned his head and looked around. Sharingan's powerful dynamic strength allowed him to see the surrounding situation at a glance. Indeed, no Uchiha Madara was seen. Quick, look, that flower is blooming. Neji pointed at the huge flower bud and shouted loudly, immediately attracting everyone's attention. Under their gaze, the huge flower bud opened little by little. A dazzling white light emerges from it, obscuring the situation inside the flower. The petals gradually opened, and the white light quickly disappeared. As everyone watched, they saw a strange creature emerge from the bud. The upper body is incompletely humanoid, with small black eyes, no nose, mouth and ears. On the head is a crown of tree vines, and the round hands are holding a large leaf to cover the top of the head. And its lower body is a flower. It's all floating in the air. It's as if it has no weight. Naruto also looked at this guy curiously. Although this wood style was created through the avatar, this is the first time Naruto has used it. Probably the last time it was used. After all, using this technique consumes too much chakra and vitality. Chakra comes second, but with a lot of life force that even Naruto can't provide. If it wasn't for Uchiha Madara's sudden tens of thousands of white zetsu, I'm afraid Naruto wouldn't be able to do this either. And the strength of this guy summoned with such painstaking efforts cannot be underestimated. Not only can it use all the wood styles that Naruto will, but it has also been enhanced in some ways. Wood style enhanced on the basis of Naruto, it is unimaginable how powerful it will be. And the most important thing is that it has command and can learn. It can be further enhanced with learning. Looking at your floating appearance, I'll call you Dandelion. Naruto hastily named it. After all, it has absorbed such a huge vitality, it can exist for at least 100 years. As long as it is not destroyed, it's completely equivalent to a supernumerary-tailed beast. Except without a tail. Dandelion apparently has no concept of names. But he also knew that this little person in front of him had an unusual relationship with him. Woo, Dandelion makes a crisp sound, which is full of intimacy. With its huge body floating, it approached Naruto. Every time it gets closer, the body will shrink inward rapidly. When it floated to Naruto, it was only about 2.9 meters high. At the moment it is sticking to Naruto's body, making whining sounds continuously, as if acting like a baby. Okay, there will be plenty of time in the future, you can wait for me to come back here now. Naruto touched the top of its head. The soft feel is very nice. Huh? Dandelion tilted her head, as if asking something. Yes, wait here, I'll be right back. Naruto nodded as if he understood Dandelion's words. Woo, Dandelion seemed a little disappointed, but she took 2 steps back very obediently. Naruto feels very strange, it's like having a child of your own. Shaking his head, he threw this ridiculous idea out of his head. He has to go find Uchiha Madara now. Uchiha Madara, who was hit by Naruto, didn't know how far he flew. However, with the Muji healing ability obtained by transplanting Senju Hashirama's flesh and blood, the injuries on his body recovered almost instantly. During the inverted flight, Uchiha Madara opened his eyes. Just in time. Take advantage of this time to reunite with Black Zetsu and find other Renly. Naruto is just too tough, and it is very powerful. Although Uchiha Madara is confident that he will not lose, it is very difficult to win. If you want to win steadily, you must wake up 10 tails, then become Jinchuriki of 10 tails, and finally become Sage of 6 paths. Only in this way can Uchiha Madara be able to secure a sure win over Naruto. Although Uchiha Madara hasn't figured out how to extract the power of 9 tails from Naruto's body, at least get the other tail beasts first. At that time, even if the disabled 10 tails are awakened, as long as they can become the Jinchuriki of 10 tails, their strength will be greatly improved. However, Uchiha Madara's wishful thinking, Naruto is naturally clear. Naruto naturally wouldn't give him this chance. Not afraid that Uchiha Madara will gain stronger power. Instead, Uchiha Madara, who became the Sage of 6 Paths, will most likely be stolen by Black Zetsu and become a vessel for Otsutsuki Kagaya. Naruto didn't want to fight Otsutsuki Kagaya, it wasn't fun to fight at all. Otsutsuki Kagaya has strength but no combat experience, so he is not a good opponent. It is interesting to fight against a powerful enemy like Uchiha Madara who has been fought on the battlefield. At this time, Uchiha Madara didn't know that Naruto was chasing after him at a very fast speed. He is constantly sensing the location of Black Zetsu. Where is it? Could it be that Black Zetsu is dead too? But Black Zetsu is dead, I should have a sense. Uchiha Madara also regarded Black Zetsu as his will incarnation at this time. Completely oblivious, Black Zetsu is a being with a mind of its own. In fact, Black Zetsu who was hiding found Uchiha Madara, but at the same time, Black Zetsu also found Naruto. Most of the entire ninja world is now covered by spore eyeliner, just to avoid the pursuit of Naruto's avatar. When I met it before, I was almost killed. Now Black Zetsu is a little scared, not daring to show his face at will. Watching Uchiha Madara fly over his head, Black Zetsu also suppressed his voice. Even if this plan fails, Black Zetsu can continue to endure. After Naruto dies of old age, he'll have a chance. I've been waiting for 1,000 years, and it's not too late for 100 years. Although, the chances are getting slimmer, but at least not impossible. As long as you can survive this difficult time. It's not that I don't believe you Uchiha Madara, but this Naruto is too strong. This concludes our partnership, good luck to you. Black Zetsu moved quickly underground, running far away. And at this time, after several minutes of chasing, Naruto finally caught up with Uchiha Madara. The god of the ninja world, dare not face me, a junior? What a disappointment, Uchiha Madara, Naruto said loudly after seeing Uchiha Madara. The sound spread around, and it just so happened that they had come to the sky above Iwagakure at this time. Onoki, who was recovering from his injuries, suddenly heard Naruto's voice, and jumped out of bed uncontrollably. Then Onogi heard that impressive name again, and his eyes widened suddenly. Uchiha Madara. How could he? Suddenly, Onogi thought of Orochimaru and immediately understood what was going on. It's Orochimaru's technique. The technique that can awaken the dead. I didn't expect Orochimaru to hide this ultimate move. However, listening to Naruto's voice, it seems that Uchiha Madara is running away? Onoki's eyeballs rolled around, and he was thinking about whether to join in the fun. Although there are injuries on the body, but almost paid. In the previous stop with Naruto Sasuke, there were not many physical injuries, but more because chakra consumed too much, so it is easy to raise it. Now it is hard to see the scene of Uchiha Madara's embarrassment. Onoki really doesn't want to give up. Without hesitating for a long time, Inoki immediately made a decision. He flew out of the window and headed in the direction of the sound. In the room, Haitu, who was rubbing ointment on Onoki, suddenly shouted angrily. Grandpa. Your injury is not healed yet. Grandpa is not in the way. Haitu, you stay here obediently, don't come out. Onoki's excited voice came from afar. But, this kind of creature. The more you forbid, the more you want to try. As a result, Haitu's eyeballs also rolled around, and then quietly flew out. When Uchiha Madara heard Naruto's voice, he realized that he was being chased by Naruto. He turned his head and saw Naruto's complexion suddenly sank. You caught up so quickly, Naruto shrugged and said. The speed is not fast, didn't I let you run away earlier? Well, don't try to find Black Zetsu, or any other Jinchuriki. It's impossible for me to let you succeed. Uchiha Madara is not surprised to see her purpose being easily dismantled. Naruto in front of him is really too weird. At the age of less than 10 years old, he has the strength to fight at the peak, and even has a slight upper hand. Then it was like this at this time, as if he knew everything, which made Madara very afraid. Obviously Uchiha Madara didn't tell anyone about his relationship with Black Zetsu except Obito. But Naruto seems to know all these secrets clearly. Little ghost, don't think that if you take advantage of it for a while, you can be equal to me. The gap between you and me is wider than the Milky Way. Fire style extinguish fire. A huge wall of fire suddenly appeared from the sky, pressing over with a strong sense of oppression. The intense high temperature directly dries up the surrounding air, and even the breathing becomes scorching hot. However, Naruto just smiled lightly. Fire style, god of the ninja world, is this the result? Let's show you the real fire style. Fire style extinguish fire. Suddenly, everyone seemed to be in hell. As far as the eye can see, there are only endless burning flames. A huge flame wall rises from the ground, and its height is over 1,000 meters. Compared with Uchiha Madara's huge fire that was only hundreds of meters away, it formed a sharp contrast. Uchiha Madara's fire style was suppressed as easily as a son meeting his old father. Uchiha Madara looked at the huge wall of fire that covered the sky, and the whole person suffered. Who am I? Where am I? What level of fire style is this? How can I not? Knowing the power and scope of Naruto's ninjutsu, Onoki watched the battle from a distance early on. So the 1,000-meter-high firewall didn't have much impact on Oyemu at all. At most, it was sweating profusely from the heat. Then, looking at the Uchiha Madara who was as small as an ant under the wall of flames, Onogi laughed unkindly. You have today too. Thinking of how you humiliated me and Master back then, have you ever thought that one day you will be more miserable than us? He. Well done Naruto, teach that bastard a lesson. Onoki yelled frantically, as if he wanted to vent all the grievances he suffered decades ago. And at this time, there was an exclamation in Onoki's ear. As expected of Naruto, the ninjutsu of just anyone is so amazing. I'm afraid even if 1,000 fire-style ninjas use it together, it can't compare to Naruto, the firewall. It's simply too powerful. Onogi turned his head in shock, and saw his precious granddaughter standing aside with a sigh all over his face. After the eyelids couldn't help twitching a few times, Onoki shouted loudly. Didn't I tell you not to come out? A battle of this level will be spread casually, and your small body will be gone. Hurry up and go back to me, do you hear me? Haito clasped his hands together, turned his head and said. I do not want it. Grandpa's injury is obviously not good, so he has no right to teach me a lesson. And my flying speed is much faster than Grandpa, it is impossible for Grandpa to catch up with me. Even if you have to suffer, Grandpa will suffer first. Ono's wooden beard was about to fly off. You girl, you are really disobedient. However, before he could say anything, he felt a very strong heat coming from behind him. Looking up, a star-like figure appeared in Haito's eyes, and he kept exclaiming. Wow, so beautiful. Onoki couldn't help turning his head back, and the whole person was immediately intoxicated. I see. A gigantic fire phoenix in the sky spread its wings, emitting a dazzling light that even suppressed the sun. Seeing this unbelievably powerful fire style, Uchiha Madara was stunned. What kind of ninjutsu is this? Why have I never seen it before? Naruto said lightly. The phoenix spreads its wings, I created it myself. This is the first time I use it, of course you have never used it. But it's not over yet, there's more to come. Uchiha Madara's eyes popped. Besides? Naruto smiled mysteriously. Then chakra was released. Immediately, Madara suddenly appeared in the sky far away. And it is constantly expanding. No, it's not expanding, but these light spots are flying over at an extremely fast speed. Those spots of light are all bird-shaped flames, thousands of them. And each one is several meters in size. Although it can't compare with the fire phoenix that is over 1,000 meters in size, there are a lot of them. Then I saw all these flame birds flying over, circling around the fire phoenix, and aiming at their own emperor. Uchiha Madara was dumbfounded. What kind of ninjutsu is this? 100 birds face the phoenix, Naruto said lightly. Uchiha Madara said in shock. 100 birds? I'm afraid there are tens of thousands of them. Is this 100 birds? Naruto said. It's just the name. The basic situation is to gather about 100 of them. I just improved it a little bit. You call this slightly? Uchiha Madara's voice couldn't help but rise high. Then what will happen if you use all your strength? Naruto smiled and said. To deal with you, naturally you don't need to do your best. Uchiha Madara's face suddenly sank. I admit that your strength is indeed different from that of the inspector. But it's 100 years too early to deal with me. Susanoo at full strength. Immediately, a gigantic Susan-eng rose from the ground. The height is about the same as that of the fire phoenix. The fire phoenix is a gigantic monster with a height of thousands of meters and a wingspan of over several thousand meters. Uchiha Madara was able to elevate her own Susanoo to such an extent. Naruto was slightly surprised, but immediately became excited. That's right. Otherwise, the title of God of the ninja world is too worthless. Inside Naruto, Kurama looked at Uchiha Madara, his eyes had turned red. This is the guy who controlled him to fight Senju Hashirama in the first place, causing him to lose his leisurely life. Before seeing Uchiha Madara being beaten by Naruto, Kurama kept yelling in Naruto. Now that Uchiha Madara is doing his best, Kurama is also gearing up to help Naruto. Naruto, do that move. I want to avenge myself. Kurama yelled frantically in Naruto's mind. Naruto smiled and said soothingly. It's not yet time for you to appear on the stage, after all, the power of that move is too strong. I'm afraid that Uchiha Madara will be vaporized directly. After all, it's useful for me to keep him, otherwise I wouldn't be entangled with him until now. Hearing this, Kurama still couldn't bear it, but he would still listen to what Naruto said. In that case, spare his life. Naruto smiled and said. Don't worry. Even if this trick is not used against Uchiha Madara, there will definitely be people who need to be dealt with in the future. Just be patient. Our future is still very long. After completing Susanoo in the strongest state, Uchiha Madara suddenly shouted loudly. This is my strongest strength, your mere little firebird will never be my opponent. Gobama of Yasaka. Multiple glowing jades emerged from Susanoo's hand. With a hard throw, it immediately impacted at an extremely fast speed. Huo Feng Wang was immediately penetrated by this hooked jade. But the fire phoenix itself is just a body made of flames, and Jia Chuan quickly rejoined it. It doesn't hurt at all. That is, some flame birds were affected and were directly scattered by Guyu. Come and not reciprocate, Naruto said lightly. Let him see what you can do, fire phoenix. Clang. With a resounding phoenix cry, the fire phoenix spread its wings, and countless meteorite-like flames fell heavily. Like a meteor shower, it fell on Uchiha Madara's Susanoo. But after all, this is the Susanoo that Uchiha Madara used with all his strength. This meteorite fire that can easily destroy a forest, but when it falls on Susanoo, it can burn with little scorched black traces. Seeing this, the fire phoenix put on his clothes, immediately raised his slender neck, and let out a clear and loud cry again. But this time, the surrounding flame birds heard the call and gathered in the sky above the fire phoenix. They continue to gather, forming a huge fireball, and as the number of flame birds gradually increases, the size is still expanding. Haitu looked up, doubts appearing in his eyes. She looked up, and looked down, then said. Grandpa, directly below them is our Iwagakure. If the fireball didn't hit that big guy, what would happen to the village? Haitu only felt a whoosh sound around him, and turned his head to see that his grandfather had disappeared. Onoki swooped down at the fastest speed, shouting and rushing. Run, all. Get out of the village. People on the ground also noticed something bad in the sky. Some quick-witted people have already started running. And some people looked up blankly, watching the miraculous scene. An incomparably huge great fireball, comparable to the setting of the sun, was on top of their heads. Not only that, but there is also a burly giant with a height of over 1,000 meters, which has refreshed their understanding of the world. Some ninjas couldn't help but doubt themselves. Am I dreaming? Or am I hallucinating? There was an urgent cry in his ear, and he turned his head to look at Onoki, who was full of anxiety and despair. Onoki never thought that he was just watching for fun, but now he saw that his hometown seemed to be destroyed. Although he acted quickly, Onoki knew that what he did would most likely have no effect. The amount of chakra contained in the fireball is too amazing, and is not a meteorite dropped by Tengai Shinsei, so Onoki can bear it by reducing the weight of the ultralight heavy rock technique. This fireball, Onoki is sure, as long as he gets close, it will evaporate and leave nothing behind. This kind of power, even if it is not directly smashed down, even if it is only affected by some remaining power, it is enough to destroy Iwagakure directly below. But Rao knows it's not feasible, but Onoki has to do it. This is his responsibility as Tsuchikage. Responsibility to protect Iwagakure residents. Although he likes people who are behind the scenes, Onoki is indeed a very competent Honokage. Iwagakure also became stronger and stronger under his hands, overwhelming the country of water with barren land, second only to Konoha and Cloud Shinobi in terms of national strength. However, although Onoki was anxious and desperate, in fact, day and day are just his unfounded worries. Although the huge fireball was condensed by the Fire Phoenix, the actual controller is still the caster Naruto. After all, the Fire Phoenix itself is unconscious. And with Naruto's control of power, Naturally it will not endanger Iwagakure, who is close at hand. What Naruto wants is to conquer, to make the whole ninja world unified, so as to eliminate war. Rather than killing innocent people. Naturally, he would not let his own power kill the power to affect many innocent people below. Fall. Naruto spat out lightly, staring at the fireball that became bright white, and immediately fell towards Uchiha Madara's Susanoo. Ha! With this level, you can defeat me. Uchiha Madara roared arrogantly, and then Susanoo opened his hands suddenly under his control. Super Shenluo Tianjung. There is no reason why Uchiha Madara can't use the ninjutsu that Nagato, who has Uchiha Madara's eyes, can use. The extremely powerful thrust directly pushed the fireball back. The corner of Naruto's mouth twitched slightly. Is it just you? Naruto held out his right hand. Shenluo Tianjung. Boom! The incomparably huge forces collided suddenly, and the seemingly incomparably fierce giant great fireball was directly crushed and collapsed. The fire phoenix caught in the middle of the two forces also let out a mournful howl, and was then squeezed into scattered flames. So strong? Uchiha Madara's complexion suddenly changed. He naturally didn't think it was his Shenluo Tianjung who did it. Although Shenluo Tianjung is really unreasonable. But Uchiha Madara also knows where the limits of her power lie. Moreover, Uchiha Madara is using Super Shinra Tenseki. And he just heard clearly that what Naruto used was just the ordinary Shinra sky sign. It turned out to be an ordinary Shenluo Tianjung, but it directly destroyed the giant great fireball that Uchiha Madara couldn't destroy, and even squeezed and dissipated the fire phoenix. And most importantly, Uchiha Madara felt a strong resistance. Uchiha Madara's Super Shenluo Tianjung can no longer expand outward. Instead, it was Uchiha Madara and his Susanoo who were being pushed away. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. This must be my illusion. How could he be so strong? Uchiha Madara screamed like a maniac. And Naruto just raised the corners of his mouth slightly and said, "Sorry, I'm just that weak." Humble, yet arrogant. Although Naruto has always had a phobia of insufficient firepower. But after fighting against Uchiha Madara in person, and even reaching a certain level of crushing, the sense of urgency in Naruto's heart has dissipated a lot. After all, Uchiha Madara is currently the strongest ninja in the ninja world. If Naruto is stronger than Uchiha Madara but still feels unsafe, then it is too steady. However, this world is far more than that simple, and now I can't stop. Naruto looked up at the sky. He knew that outside the universe, there was a group of strong men named Otsutsuki, who were born with unique talents and extraordinary strength. Even the current Naruto doesn't dare to say that he is sure about them. After all, I haven't played it myself. But Naruto also knew that it was impossible for those people to come over in a short time. And after they come over, I don't know how strong my strength will be. Thinking about it this way, Naruto still vaguely looked forward to the expressions on those people when they were blown away by his punch. Who are you underestimating? I am Uchiha Madara. The suppressed Uchiha Madara roared, and the chakra in his body gushed out. Suddenly, the situation stalemate. Finally, with a loud noise, a shockwave spread rapidly. The gust of wind that followed immediately lifted everyone on the ground into the air. You must know that the location where the shockwave erupts is hundreds of meters above the ground. With such a long distance, the explosive wind generated unexpectedly caused people to be thrown into the air uncontrollably. Those houses are naturally more problematic. A large number of houses collapsed directly. Fortunately, because of the threat of the huge great fireball before, everyone ran out of the room. So no one was crushed under the collapsed house. Ono Muffet was blown tens of meters away in the air and turned over dozens of times. He almost shook Onoki's brains evenly. When he stopped, he shook his head in the air for a while, and then fell down uncontrollably. My mind is confused, and I can't even control ninjutsu. Fortunately, at the critical juncture, the solid Sun Huang-2 came out in time and caught Onoki, which prevented Onoki from hitting the ground directly. With Onoki's physical condition, if he fell from a height of 100 or 200 meters, he would have gone to the Pure Land to meet his master on the spot. "Father, are you all right?" Huang-2 said with concern, and Haitu flew over quickly. She was far away, and although she was affected a bit, at least she was able to stabilize in the air. But when it flew over, it was crooked, like a drunk butterfly. I'm fine. Onoki said weakly. "What about the village? Is the village okay?" Huang-2 raised his head, his face suddenly filled with bitterness. "The village is gone." When Onoki heard this, his eyes went dark. On the contrary, Black Soil said very lively. "Anyway, I don't think those houses are very pleasing to the eye, which just saves the effort of tearing them down." "Grandpa, don't worry. There were no casualties, at most a few unlucky ones were thrown down by the wind. Hearing this, Onoki breathed a sigh of relief, and then yelled at Huang Tu. Didn't you say that the village is gone? Is that what you said? Huang Tu said aggrievedly. The village is indeed gone, but I haven't had time to talk about the situation of the villagers. As he spoke, King Chuang couldn't help but glared at his daughter. Haitu stuck out his tongue cutely, then raised his head and pointed to the sky. Look. What are they going to do again? I saw a huge meteorite suddenly appeared in the sky. Seeing this familiar scene, Onoki's eyes suddenly went dark. He was all too familiar with the scene when he fought Sasuke's Tengai Shinsei. But Onoki's injury has not yet healed, and he can't resist at all. With the size of this meteorite, I am afraid that the entire Iwagakure will be completely wiped out if it falls. Despair suddenly appeared in Onoki's eyes. It's not over yet. Black Soil pointed to a small dot in the sky and said. Naruto hasn't shot yet, he can definitely block the meteorite. It's useless to block one, because there is a second, bigger one. Onoki said from his own personal experience. Black Soil has great confidence in Naruto. That's Naruto, he's sure to be able to do things Grandpa can't. Hearing the words of filial piety, Onogi finally couldn't bear it, spewed out a mouthful of old blood, and fainted in front of his eyes. Father? Father! Wake up! The Lois shook in panic, and then yelled at the Black Soil. Don't irritate your grandpa. What if he passes by suddenly? Haitu stuck out his tongue, but he still said firmly. I trust Naruto. And at this time, standing in the air, Naruto looked at the falling meteorite with great interest. As expected of you, Uchiha Madara, this meteorite is already twice the size of Sasuke's. Although it's still a lot worse than what I did. Naruto also has Rinnegan, so naturally he can also use the brick shaker. It's just that he didn't find the opportunity. This time is a good opportunity. Then let you take a look, what is a real meteorite? Tengai Shinsei. The earth dimmed down. The bright sunlight was completely blocked, and everyone raised their heads subconsciously, but what they saw was not dark clouds, but a huge black shadow. Compared to the falling meteorite, the black shadow in the sky is undoubtedly 10 times bigger. This meteorite fell, and it was not an Iwagakure that disappeared. I'm afraid the entire land of Earth will disappear from the map. This is impossible. Inside Susanoo, Uchiha Madara looked up with disbelief on his face. This is 2F** King exaggerated, it was 10 times bigger than his meteorite. How can this be? This must be an illusion. Uchiha Madara said firmly, but he was very clear that Naruto didn't use any illusion at all. Everything you see before your eyes is real. The black shadow that was huge enough to cover the sky was not Uchiha Madara's eyes. Here, I'm afraid no one will survive the fall, right? Huang Tu's face was full of despair. At the same time, there is a trace of joy in my heart. Fortunately, Onoki passed out at this time. Otherwise, Onoki would really be drawn to it when he saw this scene. Even Haitu's face was shaken. It's really scary. And the size of this meteorite, no matter how you look at it, it cannot be stopped. How does Naruto ensure that the people below are not affected? Even if he is very confident in Naruto, Kuroto is shaken at this time. While Uchiha Madara's meteorite fell first, Naruto's meteorite fell first. A gigantic volume impacted on the meteorite of Uchiha Madara. The moment of contact, it is like hitting a stone with an egg, and it collapses instantly. Naruto's giant meteorite, however, was intact. Countless rubble fell from the sky, and they were about to hit the ground. But immediately after, a huge suction force firmly held these huge crushed stones in the adsorption column, and then condensed them onto Naruto's meteorite. This is planetary devastation. Uchiha Madara saw the situation at a glance and couldn't help but widen her eyes. You hid a planetary devastation in a meteorite. How on earth did you do that? Naruto smiled lightly and said, what a simple thing, you can do it at your fingertips. Uchiha Madara's complexion was extremely complicated. What Naruto said is simple, but how difficult it is, Uchiha Madara really knows it all too well. At least he is absolutely not sure to do such a thing. Because planetary devastation absorbs everything around it and seals them all away. But the meteorite summoned by Naruto is intact, showing no signs of being damaged by the planetary devastation. On the contrary, the suction force of planetary devastation also absorbed all the meteorite fragments of Uchiha Madara in the past. The most important thing is that it has not affected anything else. This is the most unacceptable thing for Uchiha Madara. This level of chakra manipulation ability has surpassed the realm of gods. Uchiha Madara looked at Naruto with a complicated face. He couldn't imagine that such a boy, who was less than 10 years old, possessed such powerful power. Even the legendary sage of 6 paths probably can't do this, right? But Naruto, at this age, did such an incredible thing. Who exactly are you? Uchiha Madara couldn't help asking. Naruto smiled lightly and said, Me? My name is Uzumaki Naruto. Now, let's change to a wider battlefield. It saves you the need to worry about the people below. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara looked down at the destroyed Iwagakure below. He didn't have the slightest scruples about these people, and he died when he died. But what Uchiha Madara didn't expect was that Naruto was still worried about the people below. Then, Uchiha Madara looked up at the giant meteorite still floating in the air, and suddenly understood. Is that why you use planetary devastation? To know. Tengai Shinsei's kill requires the meteorite to fall to the ground. But, just below them is Iwagakure. If these 2 meteorites fall, it is certain that none of these Iwagakure people will survive. So Uchiha Madara immediately understood why Naruto used planetary devastation in Tengai Shinsei. Not just the Tengai Shinsei meteorite fragments of the shattered Uchiha Madara. It is also to be able to control the Tengai Shinsei summoned by Naruto himself, so that it will not fall to the ground. And with Naruto's will, the meteorite will go back the same way. This is one of the countermeasures Naruto came up with against the Tengai Shinsei summoned by Uchiha Madara. At the same time, it is also a more troublesome and more skillful way. Like other methods, Naruto has many ways to easily solve the meteorite without harming the civilians below. For example, flying Thunder God guides mines. This kind of space replacement ninjutsu, which can directly transfer the touched target to another location, is the most convenient way to deal with it. Even the tailed beast bomb of 10 tails can be transferred, it's just a meteorite, so it's no problem. After all, the tailed beast bomb is purely a collection of chakra. Meteorites, on the other hand, are solid. Although they look huge, they are more convenient to move. But Naruto didn't do that, he just wanted to show off. After all, there are so many things I know, sometimes my hands itch, and I want to let people see what I know. At this time, the second meteorite from Tengai Shinsei fell. But even if the meteorite summoned by Uchiha Madara is a larger second piece, there is a huge gap compared with Naruto's first meteorite. Naruto just manipulated his own meteorite to hit it lightly, and Uchiha Madara's meteorite immediately shattered into pieces. Then under the influence of the planetary devastation, fragments of meteorites were absorbed on the huge meteorites one after another. Following Naruto's idea, the huge meteorite reversed gravity against common sense and slowly flew towards the sky. Throughout the whole process, Uchiha Madara's face was very ugly. Uchiha Madara thought that his Tengai Shinsei would be cracked by Naruto, but he never expected it to be so lightly. The most important thing is that the huge meteorite seriously hit Uchiha Madara's psychology. The same as using Tengai Shinsei, but the gap between the two sides is too big. Okay, all these trivial things have been dealt with, it's time for us to change the battlefield. Naruto clapped his hands and said, It's troublesome to always worry about the people below, and it takes a lot of energy. Snort. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly and said proudly, I'll leave if you let me go. Do you think I'm your little brother? Naruto grinned and said, Of course not, but have I asked your wishes? A bad idea flashed through Uchiha Madara's mind immediately. But, before he could react, Naruto appeared in front of his Susanoo's chest. Compared with Susanoo, who is thousands of meters away, Naruto, who is only 10 years old, looks so small. But under this insignificance, there is a huge strength like a monster. God strike. Naruto slapped out of thin air, leaving Susanoo more than 10 meters away. Under this distance, even if chakra is separated from the body, it can't cause too much damage. But Uchiha Madara didn't even have time to react, and felt that the picture in front of him was passing by rapidly, and finally turned into a pile of colorful lines. When he stopped, he realized that he had come to the surface of the sea. What's going on here? Am I under an illusion? But it's impossible. I'm a Rinnegan man. Uchiha Madara was completely dumbfounded. Iwagakure, who was still in the wasteland at the last second. As a result, it came to the sea in the next second? Isn't the contrast too weird? How does it feel? At this time, Naruto's voice reached Uchiha Madara's ears. Uchiha Madara looked up, and saw Naruto stepping on a sword leisurely, floating tens of meters in front of him. What have you done? Uchiha Madara stared at Naruto, looking for answers. The situation just now was really unbelievable. How on earth did he get here? Naruto spread his head and said with a smile. Me? I just slapped you. Strictly speaking, a slap on your Susanoo. Uchiha Madara lowered her head, and was shocked to find that there was a huge hole in Susanoo's chest. Although the hole is being quickly repaired, but it can have such a strong destructive force, if Naruto was not facing the chest, but facing the head where he was. Are you afraid that you have no bones left now? How on earth did you do it? Uchiha Madara is very confident in his Susanoo defense of. But now that confidence has crumbled. Uchiha Madara just wants to know, what method did Naruto use to do it? God strike. Naruto had no intention of hiding anything, and said generously. It belongs to the advanced method of gentle fist. It is a top-level physical technique with great power. I believe you have experienced it. Uchiha Madara froze. Shen Kong strike? The advanced method of gentle fist? Gentle fist actually has such a powerful progression method? Although Beian and Sharingan are called the two major pupil techniques. But Uchiha Madara has never paid much attention to the rolling eyes. After all, compared to the magical Sharingan, the white eyes that only have the ability to see through and observe can only be used as combat aids, and have no direct bonus to combat power. And in the eyes of Uchiha Madara, his only opponents are the Senju clan. Although there is only one Tsunade who can't wood style left in the Senju family. But Uchiha Madara still regards Senju Hashirama as his old enemy. So, rolling eyes is nothing to Uchiha Madara. Not to mention the gentle fist with the supercilious look. That kind of gentle fist doesn't even have the attack power to break through Susanoo. However, in the hands of Naruto, gentle fist has not only advanced into the so-called Shenkong strike. It even directly broke the Susanoo defense that Uchiha Madara is proud of. The contrast is too strong. I didn't expect that gentle fist could become so powerful. Uchiha Madara stared at Naruto coldly. However, you didn't use it on me last time, so you won't have such a chance next time. Having seen the power of Kamisaku strike, Uchiha Madara never dared to expose himself to this move. Even with Senju Hashirama's Muji healer, Uchiha Madara is not confident that he can completely block Naruto's Kamisaku. Naruto's God Sky Strike is too strong. Not only that, Naruto's various escape techniques are very powerful. It is incredible. Saint fighters cannot be defeated by the same move. Although Uchiha Madara is not a saint, but he also has this confidence that he will not get the same trick twice. Even Uchiha Madara still doesn't know how Naruto did it at this time. But that didn't stop him from boasting. Naruto didn't care, but said with a smile. The conditions here are good, just right for performing that technique. I don't know if you can handle it. Uchiha Madara frowned, and suddenly something bad flashed in her heart. Afterwards, he saw that Naruto had formed a seal. Naruto, who had never performed any ninjutsu before, made a seal with both hands at this moment, and even made more than a dozen seals. With Naruto's hand speed, the dozen or so seals were completed almost in the blink of an eye. Subsequently, Uchiha Madara heard a cry from Naruto. Water-style polywater imaging technique. A large amount of seawater is swept up by chakra, forming an upward swirl. The height of the swirl is more than 1,000 meters, which is about the same height as Susanoo in Uchiha Madara. What does he want to do? Although this escape technique looks exaggerated, I don't feel threatened at all. Uchiha Madara is really scratching his head. But Uchiha Madara suffered a lot from Naruto's previous operations. So he became more cautious. At least I can't continue to lose face. Being forced to such a situation by a boy who is almost 100 years younger than himself is obviously not acceptable for Uchiha Madara. The upward swirl reaches a height of thousands of meters and no longer goes upward. Afterwards, the huge whirlpool gradually changed, turning into a humanoid elemental creature. There are hands, but the lower limbs are flat together, and when walking, it is more like gliding. Has a head, but no facial features. After turning into a humanoid elemental being, Naruto gave the order. Attack. Swish. The elementals immediately charged at Uchiha Madara's Susanoo. The punch hit Susanoo directly in the face. Regardless of the fact that elemental creatures are composed of water, the power of a large amount of water cannot be underestimated. Susanoo staggered back a step, which showed that the strength of the water elemental creature was not low. This punch can crush a mountain with ease. Damn it. You actually made something like this to deal with me. Uchiha Madara feels that she has been fooled. The sword in Susanoo's hand flashed, cutting the water element creature in half. The places where the water element creatures were cut were fused together almost instantly, without any trace of injury at all. Instead, she kept attacking with her own hands, and Susanoo was defeated steadily. Enough. Uchiha Madara roared, and the blazing flame wrapped around Susanoo's sword. The scorching heat even distorted the air around the blade. Swish. It was another slash, not only cutting open the water element creature, but also bursting out a large amount of water vapor. This is all the water that evaporates at the moment of contact. The water elemental creatures merged quickly again, as if they were not injured. But Uchiha Madara keenly noticed that the fused water elemental creatures had become shorter. I see. Then let me die. Uchiha Madara's frenzied manipulation of Susanoo's constant slashing. And the bodies of the water elemental creatures were also vaporized by the flames little by little, becoming more and more ugly. Naruto shook his head helplessly. This weakness was discovered too quickly. If I can improve this technique so that it can always recover from water, its strength will definitely become stronger. But unfortunately, Naruto has not researched that far. I thought I could hold on for a while, but I underestimated you. Naruto shook his head regretfully, and then lifted the escapism. The water element creature immediately turned into a large amount of seawater and fell from the sky. Bang! As if a bomb had been thrown into the sea, high waves splashed up to hundreds of meters. Then, Naruto slowly floated to the same height as Uchiha Madara and said, "Now, let me show you my full strength." Saying that, a red chakra emerged from Naruto's body. These chakras have an ominous vibe from Nine Tails. But these Nine Tails chakra don't drive Naruto into madness. In fact, Naruto wouldn't have been infected by this level of ominous chakra even if Nine Tails hadn't reigned in it. These chakra continued to expand, and finally gradually formed a very familiar appearance. "Is this your Susanoo?" Uchiha Madara narrowed her eyes. When Uchiha Madara saw Naruto's eyes, he knew that the boy in front of him would definitely play Susanoo. Unless Naruto's Rinnegan is taken from someone else, not trained by himself. But obviously, this is impossible. The red Susanoo has a fierce aura. Naruto's Susanoo is almost as tall as Uchiha Madara's. In such a battle between two indomitable giants, Hippo alone could easily destroy the towns on the coast. Even Susanoo's strength is comparable to mine? Uchiha Madara was slightly shocked. Naruto is hiding in Susanoo's head, looking at another Susanoo, or at Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara said with a hint of exclamation. "I have to admit that your pupil's strength is comparable to mine, which is almost impossible at your age. But no matter what, if you plan to fight us, if I can take away some parts of this person, we will definitely not bypass you." Naruto looked indifferent. "From now on, I will let you fully understand the huge gap between you and me." Uchiha Madara snorted coldly and said, "It's up to you. Don't cry and go back to your mother." "Oh, yes, I forgot you don't have a mother, ha 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 ha." Uchiha Madara laughed wildly inside Susanoo. "It looks like crazy." Naruto shook his head helplessly. "You asked for it." As he spoke, a cold light flashed in Naruto's eyes. Swish. A huge chakra flying sword flew from the back of Naruto's Susanoo. Then, it attacked Uchiha Madara from a weird angle. Clang. In the nick of time, Uchiha Madara's Susanoo blocked Naruto's attack with a sword. But how could Naruto's attack be so simple? Swish swish swish. A large number of chakra flying swords flew out and danced in the sky. Then, under the control of Naruto, they rushed towards Uchiha Madara one after another. Small tricks. Uchiha Madara roared loudly, and the weapon in Susanoo's hand was thrown out of the afterimage. But in the end, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. There seems to be something happening at sea. Terumi Mei stood by the sea, frowning slightly. Then she said to Master Yuan behind her, "I have to go and have a look. The situation in the village is up to you." Master Yuan nodded silently, his trembling body kept shaking. Terumi Mei acted immediately, rushing a long distance in an instant. Although the chance to be Mizukage is lost now. But this does not mean that Terumi Mei's strength will decline. So what happened? The sea is so turbulent. Something bad flashed in Terumi Mei's heart, and she couldn't help speeding up her progress. However, after she gradually approached, she suddenly discovered a situation that shocked her extremely. Obviously there is still an extremely long distance. As a result, Terumi Mei saw 2 behemoths fighting in the distance. Waves spread in all directions, which is why Terumi Mei felt that the sea surface was abnormal. What is that? The closer Terumi Mei gets, the more surprised she gets. The 2 big guys, who are over 1,000 meters high by visual inspection, are fighting like no one else, and the momentum is astonishing. But she soon discovers that it is clearly the winged giant Chakra who has the upper hand. The one that fell into the leeward was a giant made of seawater. I have a feeling one of them must be that Uzumaki Naruto guy. He is the only one who can do this in the whole ninja world. But who's the other guy? Could it be that boy named Uchiha Sasuke? I've seen him use this move, but on a much smaller scale. Terumi Mei found a safer distance and didn't want to be affected. She just came over to check on the situation, without any intention of meddling. Suddenly, Terumi Mei turned her head and looked to the right. She felt a few eyes on the right looking at this side, and her keen sense made her aware of it immediately. Those are. Like those boys who followed Uzumaki Naruto, and there's that Sasuke, eating. It seems that there is indeed one person in here who is Uzumaki Naruto, but who is the other person? Who else can fight that monster Uzumaki Naruto to this extent? It's simply unbelievable. Wait. I read that right, is that Senju Hashirama? And Senju Tobarama? Terumi Mei's eyes widened, looking at what she saw in disbelief. She actually saw Konoha's first generation and second Hokage? Aren't these two people dead? Why did it pop up again? Terumi Mei has never seen impure world reincarnation, so she doesn't know that there is such a ninjutsu that temporarily resurrects the dead. Terumi Mei, who had never seen such a situation, almost popped out of her eye sockets. At this time, Shikamaru and others who had just arrived after trekking thousands of miles naturally also noticed Terumi Mei, who was watching the battle from the sidelines. But their attention soon turned to the fight. Looks like Naruto is on the losing end, Teeth said with some uncertainty. Shikamaru frowned and said, not necessarily, that's Naruto, and I can't imagine a situation where Naruto is at a disadvantage. Senju Hashirama stared into the distance with his hands between his brows. Let me see where he is. I found it. Oh, Naruto seems to be able to do things with ease. On the other hand, Madara seems to be in a hurry. Senju Tobarama held his chin and looked at the giant water figure. This water style is really a fantastic idea. However, the limited conditions of this ninjutsu are also very unique, and it must have a very sufficient water source to be able to exert its effect. Relying on the water provided by the water source, it can continuously replenish the lost part of the waterman. It is a very good meat shield roll. Orochimaru said in a hoarse voice. As expected of Senju Tobarama, who invented many ninjutsu, he can see the subtlety of this move at a glance. However, it seems that this waterman can't hold on anymore. Senju Tobarama frowned. Impossible. There is still so much water in the sea, it will take a long time for Uchiha Madara to evaporate. It seems that Naruto felt that this move was no threat to Uchiha Madara, so he stopped the supply of chakra. Neji immediately rolled his eyes, and then refuted Senju Tobarama's statement. No. There is no chakra connection between Naruto and the water giant, and the water giant has chakra within itself. Naruto's method of using the water giant seems to be different from yours. Senju Tobarama nodded. This is also a way to use it. It doesn't need to be maintained all the time. It can be used to hold the enemy, or to contain and then sneak attack. However, it's really an exaggerated amount of chakra. If it was my heyday, I would have made a water giant of more than 100 meters at most. As a result, Naruto made such a huge water giant with ease. Senju Hashirama said with a laugh. If it weren't for this strength, we wouldn't have been defeated by him. Konoha has him here, we don't need to worry. Senju Tobarama nodded and said. Backquote. It's not just Konoha, don't forget what he wants to do. He wants to unify the entire ninja world. Senju Hashirama nodded suddenly. Indeed, I almost forgot. Little Sakura suddenly stretched out her hand anxiously and said. Look. The water giant is getting shorter and shorter. Could it be that Naruto-kun can't hold on anymore? Shikamaru rolled his eyes and said. Didn't you hear what they just said? That's just a water giant created by Naruto. Even if the water giant evaporates, nothing will happen to Naruto. Then, Shikamaru heard 4 voices of relief. Shikamaru was taken aback for a moment, then looked back and found Ino, Tien and Tianshin also exhaled following little Sakura. Shikamaru couldn't help but rolled his eyes. Hinata and others also blushed slightly. After all, the water giant did not last long. It was quickly wiped out by Susanoo of Uchiha Madara. Then Uchiha Madara became a little arrogant, thinking that Naruto had nothing to do. However, Joe and the others have more confidence in Naruto than Naruto himself. Not worried at all, Naruto has no countermeasures. Really. In their sworn eyes, a huge amount of red chakra emerged from Naruto's body. Then turned into a red full-body Susanoo about the size of Uchiha Madara. Damn. Has this guy even mastered Susanoo? Seeing this scene, Sasuke clenched his fist unwillingly. Tooth said comfortingly. After all, it's Naruto, you won't be able to catch up, you'd better give up your mind. Shut up. Sasuke roared angrily. Teeth shrugged, took 2 steps back, and muttered. I kindly persuaded you, but in the end I showed my face. Shikamaru said speechlessly. Is that what you call persuading people? I'm afraid people will be mad at you to death. Sudden. Small Sakura and others said in amazement. So handsome. Shikamaru and the others turned their heads quickly, and a look of shock appeared in Shuren's eyes. To be honest, they have seen Naruto use Wanji and Gizong in many ways. Ordinary iron swords, kunai and so on, Both are powerful. But now, they see Naruto do it with chakra-shaped flying swords. Red light shines on the red chakra flying sword. And keep bouncing up and down on Uchiha Madara's Susanoo. But Uchiha Madara can only use the weapon in his hand to block it awkwardly, but he can't stop the tens of thousands of flying swords at all. Getting rid of the shackles of the entity, the chakra flying sword is not only lighter, but also can achieve miraculous effects after adding chakra attribute changes. The wind attribute can make the chakra flying sword sharper. Thunder attribute can make chakra flying sword faster and more penetrating. The fire attribute can make the chakra flying sword more powerful. The earth attribute can make the chakra flying sword stronger. The water attribute can make the chakra flying sword softer. Thousands of flying swords are endowed with these chakra changes. Although each handle has only one change, it is enough to play a miraculous effect. In no time Uchiha Madara's Susanoo was covered in bruises and the look dilapidated. But Uchiha Madara's chakra volume is also very amazing, and the injury on Susanoo was completely wiped out in an instant. Naruto was in no rush to breach Uchiha Madara's defenses. Because he hasn't had enough. But the people watching the battle from a distance saw that Ike was firmly gaining the upper hand and immediately cheered. Great. Naruto pinned down Uchiha Madara, Fang roared loudly. Lee and Choji nodded excitedly, as if it was the two of them who fought Uchiha Madara. Shikamaru looked helplessly at the three clowns. Can't you see that Naruto is not serious? Senju Hashirama looked at Shikamaru in surprise. So Naruto wasn't serious. I thought Naruto was already doing his best. Senju Tobirama covered his face helplessly and said, Brother, can we not be so embarrassing in front of the younger generation? If you don't know, don't talk, okay. Shikamaru looked at Senju Hashirama calmly, as if he did not expect such a simple request for money, and Hashirama, who was once known as the god of the ninja world, did not notice it. Could it be that my observation is better than first Hokage? Shikamaru couldn't help thinking. By the way, how long does Naruto want to last? Neji asked with a frown. I always feel that Uchiha Madara seems to have no other tricks. Others turned their attention to Uchiha Madara. At this time Uchiha Madara is still in a state of embarrassment to block Naruto's offensive. As if, as Neji said, he no longer has the ability to resist. Although, the strength shown by Uchiha Madara can still easily crush everyone present. But in the face of Naruto, it seems that it is no longer possible. But at this moment, look, an exclamation every day immediately attracted everyone's attention. Asterisk 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 asterisk, damn it, it's endless. Uchiha Madara felt suffocated. Uchiha Madara has never been like this since the ninja world. I only have to be beaten, but I can't even pay back my hands. Even when he played against Senju Hashirama, Uchiha Madara was never so frustrated. But this also made Uchiha Madara understand that the opponent, who is less than 10 years old, is really very heaven-defying. It can make him dignified Uchiha Madara feel unparalleled pressure. But that doesn't mean he, Uchiha Madara, can't cope with the situation. How dare you look down on me, Uchiha Madara, I will make you pay. Uchiha Madara roared angrily. Wood-style flower tree realm comes. Boom. Under the sea surface, countless black shadows suddenly emerged. It was one huge tree after another. At the top of each tree is a huge flower. Naruto watched this scene with a frown, and subconsciously manipulated the flying sword to slash over. However, these chakra flying swords fell on these trees and flowers, not only did not cause much damage, but took away a lot of chakra. I can't even maintain the appearance of chakra's flying sword, let alone maintain chakra nature transformation. What a big flower. Fang stared blankly at the countless giant trees that were angry from the sea. This is completely beyond his imagination, Senju Hashirama said in surprise. When did that Madara guy even learn this trick? I never taught him, Senju Tobirama said helplessly. He wants to learn but still needs you to teach. You only need to use it once, and he will know how to use it. Before it was just chakra without wood style, now he has your cells in his body, so he can use wood style naturally. I'm afraid you can use wood style, Uchiha Madara will use it. Senju Hashirama nodded and said, but I'm not worried at all. Because Naruto can also wood style, and Naruto's wood style is better than mine. I believe that Naruto's wood style will also dislocate Madara in surprise. Senju Tobirama shook his head and said, you really have confidence in him? Senju Hashirama asked back, you don't? Senju Tobirama twitched his mouth slightly and said, naturally. There are. After all, under the siege of their two brothers, Naruto who subdued them, they naturally think that he is stronger than Uchiha Madara. And the operation of pressing Uchiha Madara without using all his strength before also proved this point. Now, Naruto's Wanjian Guizong Chakra Flying Sword version is cracked. I don't know how Naruto will deal with it. How will Naruto respond? Very simple. Use the same technique as the opponent, and use it better and stronger than the opponent. Wood-style flower world comes. Not the flower and tree world, but the flower spring. This is wood-style ninjutsu created by Naruto. The surface of the sea trembled constantly, as if something huge was rising from the surface of the sea. Uchiha Madara couldn't help but look down. A bad feeling came over Uchiha Madara. No way? Does this guy still have a way to fight against the coming of Washuji? What is the so-called arrival of the flower world? Uchiha Madara was puzzled. He could only resist the desire to make a move, and waited for Naruto's moves to appear. Didn't keep Uchiha Madara and others waiting too long. Amid the violent tremors, dozens of slender shadows suddenly appeared on the sea surface. It is said to be slender, but its diameter has exceeded several meters. Literally a big guy. But these guys all have one characteristic. That is high. Very, very high. Jumping out from the bottom of the sea, it is even higher than the 1,000-meter Susanoo of Uchiha Madara. These plants are simply outrageous. After reaching the highest point, these flowers began to slowly open under the sunlight to welcome the bright sunshine. But, as the flowers opened, a strange feeling made Uchiha Madara's heart beat. Never let the flowers open. Planetary devastation. Several pitch-black balls appeared in the sky. The huge suction acts on those towering flowers that reach into the sky. But, how could Naruto watch Uchiha Madara stop his ninjutsu? Is it just you? Naruto smiled, then exhaled lightly. Planetary devastation. Swish. The same number of black areas, but stronger than Uchiha Madara's in both volume and suction. Even strong enough to attract Uchiha Madara's planetary devastation to the past. How can it be? Uchiha Madara's eyes widened. Never expected that such a thing would happen. His planetary devastation was defeated by Naruto's planetary devastation. But the real threat is those flowers that are about to bloom. That's too late. Uchiha Madara's eyes were tearing apart. The flower buds on the top of the head are opening one by one. A soul-stirring force washed over everyone's hearts in an instant. This moment, Uchiha Madara felt a sense of tranquility like never before. Obviously, I can feel strongly that something is wrong. But the peaceful atmosphere calmed Uchiha Madara's eyes. He forgot where he was now, and what he was doing just now. He just stood there dumbfounded, as if he had lost his soul. Then, Uchiha Madara heard a soft voice whispering in his ear. Sleep, sleep. It was as if his mother was whispering in his ear, causing Uchiha Madara to have a strong dilemma. Where am I? What was I just doing? What should I do? Forget it. Don't think so much, let's get some sleep. Sleep, it's all right. Uchiha Madara slowly closed his eyes. Sudden. As if having a nightmare, Uchiha Madara opened his eyes instantly. What's happening here? Uchiha Madara panted heavily, filled with fear. Uchiha Madara felt scared just now by the strange feeling of losing control of his body despite being in control of his body. Oh? Failed? Naruto's slightly surprised voice came from above Uchiha Madara's head. Uchiha Madara feels a little weird. I am almost the same as Naruto's Susanoo. Why does Naruto's Susanoo look down at me? At this time. Only then did Uchiha Madara realize that he was actually sitting. Even Susanoo with him is sitting on the sea. It is precisely because of this that Naruto's voice came down from above. Is it an illusion? Uchiha Madara looked at the flower buds with apprehension. I don't know if these flowers can still make him Uchiha Madara fall into the illusion just like before. See it. Naruto smiled and said. According to my guess, you should be asleep by now. It's like those guys watching the battle. Saying that, Naruto turned his head and glanced at where Shikamaru and the others were. The illusion just now is a large-scale indiscriminate illusion. Even though they were separated by several kilometers, Shikamaru and others were still affected, and they closed their eyes and fell asleep. Only Senju Hashirama, because of his unique wood-style talent, has an inexplicable effect on the resistance to this illusion. What happened? Why is everyone asleep? Senju Hashirama stared blankly at Senju Tobirama who was sleeping soundly at his feet. This is the first time Senju Hashirama has seen Senju Tobirama sleep so soundly after so many years. The last time I saw Senju Tobirama was in his mother's arms when he was a child. That's Senju Tobirama, exactly the same smile as Senju Tobirama lying on the ground now. The only difference is that the former Senju Tobirama was just a child, but the current Senju Tobirama has been dead for an unknown amount of time. Could it be the flowers? After all, it was first Hokage, and immediately realized the crux of the problem. But I guess I guessed it. Now Senju Hashirama dare not wake them up at will. In this situation, if they don't know anything, whether there will be negative effects on waking them up, Hashirama is not sure. Naturally, it was not easy for him to wake up the sleeping man. But, looking at the smiles at the corners of their mouths, it should be another dream, right? It's a pity that I can't do it. Senju Hashirama smacked his mouth, then looked into the distance. I still borrowed your ideas for this trick, Naruto said with a chuckle. Uchiha Madara frowned. My thoughts? Project Tasuki no Mi. Naruto pointed to the sky, although it was daytime and the moon could not be seen. Isn't your plan to let everyone live in a world made of illusion? A world free from strife and eternal peace. This is the illusion that can let them step into the pure land of the mind. Anyone who is tricked will immediately have a good dream. Uchiha Madara's eyes widened. These flower buds can actually do this? How on earth did you do it? Naruto shrugged and said. Work hard and try a lot and you will get it. You put. Uchiha Madara subconsciously wanted to refute, but the last word didn't pop out. It was Uchiha Madara who found Naruto's words too unacceptable. What do you mean by trying a lot? Think back to how much common sense he did back then, but in the end he could only use Project Tasuki no Mi to hypnosis everyone. Can now? Naruto actually showed a result comparable to Project Tasuki no Mi in front of him. If you bring people together in a certain range, you can even do everything in Project Tasuki no Mi. It's a pity that Uchiha Madara couldn't figure out the principle and idea of this technique at all. Want to copy this ninjutsu, but Naruto simply can't even seal it. Now, Uchiha Madara has a complete headache, but what troubled him even more was how to fight Naruto. No matter what kind of ninjutsu, in the hands of Naruto, the power is much greater than him. Some even double it. And with that look of ease, Uchiha Madara affirms that Naruto's true strength can be said to be unfathomable. Perhaps, only by becoming 10 Tails Jinchuriki and reaching the 6 Paths mode can you fight Naruto. But Naruto never gave him a chance to collect tailed beasts. Now Uchiha Madara can only hope that the Black Earth will absorb those tail beasts. But what is Black Zetsu doing now? He is running for his life. As I said before, Naruto's avatars are all over the entire ninja world. These Naruto clones are like signal base stations, filling the entire ninja world with knowledge and cooking energy. As soon as Black Zetsu emerges from the ground, or has the idea, Naruto will know the location of Black Zetsu immediately. When the time comes, the nearest Naruto avatar will naturally go up and get rid of this behind-the-scenes Black Hand Mountain. Damn it. Why does Naruto rush over every time it emerges from the ground? Black Zetsu moved quickly in the ground in a panic. Because of his unique life form, even though his body was badly damaged and even lost an arm, to him, it was just an injury that could be repaired at any time. But the current embarrassing situation made Ju completely unexpected. He never imagined that he would be forced into such a situation. It surfaced for the first time before, and wanted to go to Cloud Shinobi Village to take Orway Jinchuriki away. But he had only appeared for less than a minute when a gigantic Rasengan fell from the sky. Scared, Black Zetsu got into the ground directly. Then, Black Zetsu saw that Rasengan hit the ground, making a huge crater hundreds of meters deep and over 1,000 meters in diameter. This power almost made Black Zetsu's eyes pop out in shock. It's too scary. This kind of powerful Rasengan, in Black Zetsu's impression, only one person can do it. That is Uzumaki Naruto. But now that Naruto is fighting Uchiha Madara, how can he have time to throw a Rasengan at him? Could it be that 2 people fought near here? Is this Rasengan just a stray bullet? Black Zetsu turned around cautiously and found that there was no sign of Uzumaki Naruto. He scored twice. Still want to take Orway Jinchuriki away first. Can. Not long after he came out, an invisible explosion exploded on him. The whole person was blown to pieces. If it wasn't for the unique life form, I'm afraid this wave would have been blown to death directly. Even so, Black Zetsu was so frightened that he fled directly into the ground and ran out for hundreds of kilometers. Since Orway is not allowed to be taken away, then take away the others first. So, Black Zetsu came to Longyan village, wanting to take 6 Tails away. But when it first appeared, it was a powerful blow. Here. Black Zetsu fully understood. This Naruto is staring at him and hitting. No matter where he appears, Naruto can precisely guide and direct the attack to him. The first Rasengan was able to dodge. But at the second start, the invisible explosion was completely unpredictable, and Black Zetsu was not given a chance to dodge at all. But Black Zetsu also has the unique ability to reunite even after being blown to pieces. It was even harder to kill than Xiaoqiang. Since you won't let me show up, then it's fine if I don't come out. Black Zetsu fled into the ground and stayed for a long time. I thought Naruto should give up, so cautiously probed. As a result, a small tree in front of him suddenly changed into the appearance of Naruto, showing a bright smile to him. This moment, Black Zetsu's heart almost stopped beating. Black Zetsu drilled into the ground at the fastest speed, but was still almost smashed to pieces by Naruto's attack. But fortunately, after paying some price, Black Zetsu finally escaped. To escape is to escape. The trouble is still not resolved. Without his help, Uchiha Madara obviously couldn't beat this pervert invincible version of Uzumaki Naruto. But now that Black Zetsu shows up, he will immediately suffer a fatal blow from Naruto. Now Black Zetsu is caught in a dilemma. That is to show up, or not to show up. If you show your head, you will be beaten. If you don't show up, then Black Zetsu's plan will fail completely, without any possibility of completion. Fight. To save my mother. Black Zetsu gritted his teeth and floated to the ground. Then drill into the ground at a faster rate, because he saw that where he floated up, there were countless clones standing densely. If Naruto's avatars fired a salvo, he would be gone immediately. Fortunately, he reacted very quickly and ran away directly. Dare not have the slightest hesitation, and Black Zetsu's move is also very clear. Because after Black Zetsu left, that place was directly bombed into a deep pit thousands of meters deep. The kind that takes a long time to fall to the ground. Forget it. With Uzumaki Naruto around, the plan is absolutely impossible to succeed. Black Zetsu finally gave up and planned to hide in a corner where no one was around, waiting for the next opportunity. The other side. Uchiha Madara doesn't yet know that she has been given up by Black Zetsu. At this time, Uchiha Madara thought that Black Zetsu was the incarnation of his own will, and he would definitely carry out the plan according to his own ideas. Because of this, Uchiha Madara, who still had a little hope in his heart, was able to face Naruto. Otherwise, Uchiha Madara would have collapsed long ago. The hypnosis effect of the fantasy world is very weak for Rinnegan and needs to be improved. After noting that the flower buds had little effect on Uchiha Madara, Naruto looked up at the exhausted Uchiha Madara inside Susanoo. On the other hand, on Naruto's side, he is very relaxed and flexible at the same time. Even if there is another Uchiha Madara with a comfortable look, it will not be a problem. But I have to admit that Naruto's strength is really strong. Uchiha Madara, who was at his peak, couldn't even hurt Naruto. Can't even touch Naruto's clothes. Uchiha Madara couldn't believe that there was such a big gap between the two. But this is reality. Uchiha Madara had to face this harsh reality. At this time, Uchiha Madara had some realizations. Those guys who faced me were under so much pressure back then. Uchiha Madara showed a wry smile, her eyes full of disappointment. Obviously, he planned everything. But not only since when, there has been a huge deviation in his plan. Uchiha Madara never expected that Uzumaki Naruto would be so powerful. Even a self-awakened Rinnegan, it can be said that Uchiha Madara is not Naruto's opponent in terms of customers. If it weren't for the trust in Black Zetsu, Uchiha Madara would have been unable to stand Naruto's behavior as if he was molesting him at this moment. Uchiha Madara is no fool. Every time Naruto uses ninjutsu to break his ninjutsu easily, Uchiha Madara feels a sense of powerlessness in his heart. Why? Why is he so powerful when he is less than 10 years old? My god. You're so King fair. Uchiha Madara roared in his heart, mixing the breath of the violent panting. Then, Uchiha Madara closed his eyes. At this moment Naruto was sitting cross-legged in his Susanoo head. He pointed with his fingers which ninjutsu should be used. Fire style and water style have been done. This is not suitable for earth style, then wind style? Lightning style. It's definitely not easy to use in water. Naruto thought curiously, then shook his head to get the idea out of his head. Don't paralyze yourself. Naruto still has a certain degree of self-awareness about his own strength. Even if he controls the power of the lightning style he casts, if he falls into the water and is boosted by the seawater, it will suddenly become very terrifying.